I have like a huge guest. Senator Cassidy to me is a worthwhile reason to skip top. There we go.
He's coming to the studio?
Yeah. He's on the hotline. I think he's on the hotline.
I was gonna say, if he's here, then that's pretty big.
Yeah.
What's the biggest guest you ever had?
I don't know. Everybody asks me that question, and I really don't know.
Sorry to be give everyone.
No, it's one that I need to figure out. I mean, there's only 100 senators in the country, so having a senator is a pretty big deal.
Well, also, like, I don't know what you don't consider big. Someone else, like, you just had Congressman Graves here.
Yeah,
like,
but I have him every single week. I have Senator Cassidy once a month. I know. Donald Trump, Eric Trump.
Eric Trump?
Yeah, Donald Trump's son. I had half of the president's cabinet on during the last administration. Anthony Fauci. 606 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Good morning, everybody. Brian here with you. Jake Barty producing. We call it Mornings with Brian Haldane, and we are ready to roll. We are off and running. We are jam-packed and have a huge show for you today. Looking forward to today's show a lot because we're going to cover a lot of ground. Right off the bat, let me tell you, blowing out top stories and trending. We always do top stories and trending at the top of the 7 o'clock hour. Senator Bill Cassidy is going to hop on the hotline there instead. So we might find another way to sneak top stories and trending back into the show, but there's so much to get caught up with Senator Cassidy. So that's at 7:05. Before that, Patrick Grimion, host of the Patty G Show, going to be on at 6:35. Got a lot of business to talk about. Best places to work in Baton Rouge. Let's talk about it. Where are the best places to work in Baton Rouge? I can tell you right now, we are under the roof of one of them. Yep. Guarantee made the business reports list. Who else is on that list? What put them on the list? And what are employees finding attractive when it comes to where they want to work? This generation, this new crop of employees, are you looking for stability? Are you looking for a high ceiling or a high floor? Are you looking for a pet cat in the office? Yeah, that's a legit thing. We're going to talk about all that with Patty G at 6:35. Back to the 7 o'clock hour after Senator Cassidy. We are going to talk with Dr. Nuss from Our Lady of the Lake. Who is Dr. Nuss, you're asking? Well, he's heading up the transition into the cancer center, the new cancer center they're building. Our Lady of the Lake made a huge announcement earlier in the week about putting together a new standalone cancer facility. This after Mary Burt Perkins kind of cutting ties with them, opting for OneOncology out of Nashville instead. Our Lady of the Lake now picking things up and running with it as well, saying, okay, we're going to do our own thing when it comes to cancer research, cancer treatment, and Dr. Nuss is going to join us at 7:15. 7:35 is our Crimestoppers segment. Once a month, we check in with the folks at iCare to find out what's going on in our schools. Couldn't be a more opportune time for that than there is today. In the 8 o'clock hour, Dawn Starnes McVea she heads up the National Federation for Independent Business, the Louisiana, Mississippi, and I believe Arkansas chapters. There's going to be a couple things on the ballot a month from now that got done in the last legislative session and are kind of important for small business. Dawn's going to talk about those at 8:15. Then at 8:40, Jerry Flanagan is going to hop on board. Jerry Flanagan is former Army guy. He owns a junk hauling business, and he's got a new show coming to Discovery. It's kind of a cross between what was the name of that show? American Pickers. Ever seen American Pickers? Those two dudes traveling around in a van. They just go through your garbage. Well, not garbage, but the stuff that everybody just keeps around. They'll go through all your stuff. They'll find those little hidden gems and whatnot. It's called Operation Hidden Treasure, coming to Discovery. Going to talk with Jerry Flanagan about that. Also, going to set the table a little bit for this weekend. I got to tell you, I'm looking forward to LSU going to Kentucky. The game itself should be fantastic. I want to say the line is within 3 points. But it's not even the game. It's the number of Tiger fans who are getting to take the trip and do more than just go to a football game. A lot of them are going to 2 football games. But I like the idea of this being one of the, fan favorites of the year. And it has very little to do with playing a ranked team on the road. It has a lot more to do with going and visit the horse farms, taking the Bourbon Trail, seeing LSU play on Saturday, and then crossing over from Kentucky into Ohio on Sunday to go visit one Joe Burrow in Cincinnati. Should be a good time. Looking forward to the weekend. We'll have a little bit from Coach Ogeron. He was on the SEC Coaches Teleconference yesterday. We'll have some audio in our next segment as the Tigers get ready for Kentucky. Plus, we'll have the latest on Hurricane Ida recovery throughout the morning. We will have the latest on COVID-19 throughout the morning. Did you see the numbers yesterday? They continue to trend in the right direction. And we are now, today, the 7th? I think it is.
Today is the 7th.
Wow. My computer is showing me the 6th. That is amazing. Yeah, today's October 7th. We continue to count down. We're now just 3 weeks away. We're less than 3 weeks away from the ending of the current mask mandate. Will the governor re-up? Well, we're trying to get a better look at what he's looking at as we get closer and closer to that. So all that's still to come your way. We got to take a quick break right now. When we come back from that break, we are going to talk a little LSU football. That's coming your way in just a minute on Talk 107.3. You said Mooyah was first? They were first yesterday, too. Yeah, I'm going to push them back. Yeah.
There's some heavy hitters in here. Kind of got everything I want for this day of history. Plus some stuff I don't want, but discuss.
Yeah. Okay.
When was that show?
Last night. We're
Gotcha.
Morning, Eric. Morning, Clint. Welcome in, guys.
I just had an idea.
What?
Since I do this segment, This Day in History, like, I find myself telling some of my friends, if I find something that interesting, like,
Mhm.
telling them about it afterwards, and they're like, oh, that's really interesting, I would have never known that. And I'm thinking to myself, I could just do, like, something on my social media where I just, in the morning, send to certain people, like, screenshot of that Word document that I chose from,
Mm-hmm.
birthday's here. I don't know. Just not thought of it. Do you know who Charles Rocket is?
Charles Rocket?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't sound familiar.
He's an actor who died in 2005. He was in Saturday Night Live. He played the villain Nicholas Andre in the film Dumb and Dumber.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But he died 16 years ago.
Yeah. Okay, he's old school Saturday Night Live. He was also on Second City TV, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. So, Kentucky would be a big challenge, and Phil set for second loss. Those are the cuts.
Yes. 6:15. Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. I'm going to get you to sports in just a second. Do want to take one quick second to ask about Have you put on some hurricane season pounds? Have you put on some pandemic pounds? Are you looking to trim a little weight before the holidays get here? I can help you out with that. I can definitely help you out with that. With a little group called Go Slim Nutrition. You'll find them on Bluebonnet, right next door to the Rouses, actually, Bluebonnet at Perkins. You can find them online at GEAUXSlimBR.com, GoSlimBR.com, or you can give them a call at 763-9627. I've been taking part in the program. I'm down over 50 pounds. Waistline super trim, but it's not so much about the diet as much as it is the way I feel throughout the day. Making healthier lifestyle choices throughout the day are just paying dividends in every aspect of life. You could be on that path as well. Look, it's very easy, especially in South Louisiana. It's very easy to get off the right path when it comes to how you diet. It's also easy to find a million different diets with a million different kinds of diet food out there, especially the protein-based diets, which Go Slim is a protein-based diet. You can find them everywhere, but it's not about the diet food itself. It's not just about the cutting calories. It's about accountability. It's about every week, I should say, I go over there, sit down, weigh in, talk about what I've done right, talk about how I could do better. Vicki and her team, they got specials going on right now. If you want to sign up for a temporary membership or a 1-month trial, that sort of thing, they can do that at 763-9627, or just swing by. I know you can get diet food anywhere, but try theirs. Swing by Bluebonnet at Perkins, grab a bar. She'll set you up with a bar. Swing by tomorrow. I'll be by there tomorrow for my weigh-in. You can meet Vicki and her team. Get a little taste, if you will, if you'll pardon the pun, of how they handle things over at Go Slim Nutrition. All right, sports time. LSU heading up to Kentucky this weekend. Getting ready for the Wildcats. What do you do to prepare for the Wildcats, Coach O?
Obviously, a lot of praise for Kentucky. Coach Stoops doing a great job, 5-0. They have an excellent team. They played very well in all phases. A big challenge for us. Got a lot of things to fix here at LSU. We've been working on things all week. Our team has had a positive approach. We had a very good practice yes.
Fixing the run game's a big deal. I mean, that is a big, big deal. Continuity with the offensive line, big deal. Kentucky is a confusing lot, though. They are 5-0. They only had 225 total yards of offense last week against Florida. They beat Florida last week with very, very little offense. Interesting place playing at Kroger Stadium. They hold fewer than 65,000 fans, and it gets loud with just that small number. That being said, Florida had a ridiculous number of penalties last week. So communication's got to be key. Reducing the check with me's has got to be a key. Having Max Johnson look back to the sideline, the check with me's, that's just that has to go. Pulling the trigger, running the play, man. I tell you what, though, Ed Ogeron, after a loss, has, to his credit, been very, very good at LSU. That being said, he's got 2 losses on the year this year. How do you bounce back not once but twice?
Yeah, I think the challenge is just looking at it and fixing the things that just get real. These are the things that we have to fix. And when you look at it like that, very constructively, say, hey, these are the things we're doing well. These are the things that we have to fix, and show it to them on film and show them is it a technique, is it alignment, is it a better call, whatever it may be, and give them a solution. I think then you have a shot.
Yeah, kickoff is 6:30 in Lexington. Network pregame begins at 4:30. Our coverage on Eagle 98.1, I say ours, right down the hall. Our sister station, Eagle 98.1, coverage begins at 1:30 in the afternoon when Matt Moscona and, I believe, Jeremy Hill take to the airwaves to start counting you down to kickoff 5 hours prior to kickoff. Game is on ESPN, and that's where you can catch it there. All right, we're going to take a quick break, check the Fox Business Report. When we come back from that break, talking a little further on sports, but from a completely different angle. It's time to get sports betting going. Can we do that this weekend? I think we can. Here's Fox Business. Oh. Hey, good morning, Christy. I'm not going to answer that question on the air. It was what I was telling you about before we went on air. Cool. Let me go let Patty G in the building.
Tuesday, that's right. Morning. You all right today? Doing well, man. Doing well. How are you?
No Jeep out there today?
No, they said we can't park out there anymore unless we got a spot.
Get. There are spots available. Get the map. You can park out back. That's fine. I'm just saying, if you want to stay in that parking lot, there are spots available. You're not being booted out of the lot. You're booted out of the visitor spots.
There are spots besides reserved and visitors?
Yes, there are spots that are just labeled as open. Go ask Danielle for the parking map, or ask Judy for the parking map. Don't worry about what it physically says on there. Worry about what the map says. They're assigned to different people. Like the ESPN vehicle's been in my parking spot all week long.
Gotta be a subscriber.
All right. Oh! Eric says, funny, I called Graves' office and the inspector calls the same night. It's your representation getting shit done, man. Good morning, Renee. You got 13, 14, and 15? Jeez, I know. Coming up on 625 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Going to get to talk a little business in our next segment. Patrick Grimion, host of the Patty G Show, in studio. A lot of cool stuff going on in the business world, and not what you traditionally think of either. We're going to be talking coffee, we're going to be talking video games, and we're going to be talking about the best places to work in Baton Rouge. That's all coming your way after we hit news at the bottom of the hour. Right now, though, a lot of businesses about to open up very soon when sports betting actually gets here. Everything's legal, everything's passed, everything's good to go. It's legalized last year by the state legislature. Daily Fantasy's already open. I'm up. I'm up on the season. Took an L last week, but still up overall on the year. Sports betting, after being legalized last year, has come to Louisiana. Paragon Casino in Marksville opens their Vegas-style draft room sportsbook facility. Their general manager, Marshall Ray Sampson, says they've partnered with Bedford Sports to offer us a sports book right here in our state.
So we met Freddie back in 18. So we started that journey at that time, and great is we're moving back in the right direction.
We got to get moving sooner. I want all of them here. I want all of them here immediately. Sampson says being out in front of legalized gambling is nothing new for them. They were the state's first legal casino 20 years ago. He says Paragon's draft room will offer over 100 big-screen TVs and a comfortable atmosphere throughout.
We got 30 recliners, lounge chairs where you can sit back and relax and enjoy all the different sports games. It's a real nice size. It's 10,600 square feet.
Now, Native American casinos got first dibs on legal sports books in Louisiana, but other casinos are soon to follow suit. Sampson saying that Paragon offers gaming enthusiasts the chance to bet on just about any sporting event out there.
We have NFL, NBA, hockey, Major League Baseball, NCAA, even UFC boxing, and tennis, and NASCAR, and soccer, and golf. These are the different type of wagers that we offer.
Johnsonville Cornhole, Scripps Spelling Bee.
Esports.
Oh, don't get me started on esports. Every August the 8th.
Once we get there.
On August the 8th, I'm going to be there like all day long. August the 8th, 8/8, ESPN runs the Ocho. They have all the weird sports, all the stuff, obscure sports, if you will.
Yes.
The Ocho. Yeah, from dodgeball. But yeah, I got to learn very quickly about a lot of esports through that. Through a play-by-play commentator whose name I poop you not is Tasty Steve. That's a thing. That's a thing that happened in real life.
I actually believe that.
Tasty Steve. Look him up.
Tasty Steve.
Yep.
You learned something new today.
Yep. By the way, former Saints wide receiver Joe Horn was the first one to make a bet at Paragon. It was a 7-team parlay. I have no idea if how close he's going to come to nailing this, but I am curious. Any Hoosers. Sports books are great. I want them. Yes, we need to be moving forward with that. More to the point, right here in my right hand, man, I need that phone. I got my DraftKings app just ready to go. Sitting on it, waiting on it. DraftKings Sportsbook and Casino. It's right here on my phone. I don't have to drive to Marksville. Nothing wrong if you want to drive to Marksville. Nothing wrong if you want to go to L'Auberge or Hollywood or the Bell or wherever. But I want to be able to do this from wherever I'm at. If I'm watching Cincinnati play on Sunday and Burrow and Jamar Chase look like they're going to be hot that day, I want to be able to do this from my couch. Time to get it here, man. It's long overdue. We got news coming your way in just a little bit. Oh, hey, saw this story, and it always piques my interest when I see my own neighborhood showing up in news. Sherwood Forest neighbors are frustrated over debris pickup. Ooh, we're not going to have time for the whole thing. Yeah, we'll get to it. The story from WBRZ. Piles of debris can still be seen in areas of Sherwood Forest, and frustrations also remain. Quote, just still confused. We haven't seen a single debris hauler in this part of Sherwood Forest, says Jim Bergen, who lives on East Milburn Street. That's not entirely true, Jim. It's not entirely true. I'm not too far away from you over there, and I can tell you firsthand I've seen trucks on Goodwood, seen trucks on Molly Lee, and seen trucks on Buckingham, which is right around the corner from you. I literally ran by this guy's house yesterday. I know that because I don't know him, but East Milburn's only 2 blocks long. The debris piles in our neighborhood are mostly just branches and maybe some fencing every here and there. But that's not the point of the story. The point of the story is the point that Milburn gets to. I'm sorry, not Milburn. That's the name of the street. Bergen gets to Bergen, which the bad guys from Trolls movie, right? Bergen gets to later on. He says there's leaves and debris, and people wonder why the drains don't work. And that is a bigger problem. Have you seen your debris pile lately? Every leaf that was on it that got knocked down is now dead, right? Dead, falling off, and if it falls off onto the ground, where's it going to end up? Unless you're going out and raking your debris pile, manicuring your own debris pile every day, that's going to end up right there in the drains. There's leaves and debris, and people wonder why the drains don't work. Well, the longer the debris piles are out there and keep moving around, and the wind blows in the street, and the storm drains are just going to get clogged up, Bergen says. That's a legit concern. That being said, though, I have seen them in Sherwood. I've seen them in Broadmoor. Talk about the trucks that pick things up. So, It's only a matter of time. Hopefully they'll get there soon. 6:31, time for us to get the latest from CBS News. We'll check our own local news, probably a little more on that sportsbook topic there as well. Patty G's up next on Talk 107.3. Oh, there's DraftKings right there. Let's get down to business.
You said Tasty Steve.
Yeah.
I actually keep with esports a little bit, but I've never heard of some.
Tasty Steve.
Tasty Steve.
That is something an esports personality would have as a name, though, or at least a nickname.
So Clinton had a pretty good question on Facebook Live.
Boy, he's on YouTube. But
YouTube.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
But feel
I'm
free to talk
sorry.
about
I'm
it.
sorry.
Oh, let's talk about it.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
So Clinton, yeah, what is an easy way to market a podcast for not a lot of money?
See, I also want to know the answer to this.
So, I mean, you can do that in a multitude of ways. One way that I like to do it is via collaborations with businesses or other brands or even your guests. If you're a guested show, it's easier to do it with your guests. You can go to their place of business and do like a little Facebook Live or Instagram Live, or just post up a video from there. Is a good way to get your branding out there and also get their business out there as well. Now, if you're not looking to collaborate with businesses and you're looking to figure out a way to do it yourself, good organic approach to social media, getting your friends of friends to invite people to your page, just maybe reaching out to somebody with a bigger following saying, hey, can you give me a shout out? I'll give you some airtime. To do a good promotion or a good advertising, you got to be willing to do like a trade deal if you don't want to use cash. Services for services, or, you know, like I said on the YouTube Live, just get a business and do some joint giveaways, you know. Find a business that has a great product or has a gift card capability and say, hey, look, can you donate a $25 gift card? I will, you know, come here, we'll film a giveaway video. I'll post about it on my social media. You post about it on your social media. We'll do a like, share, tag in order for people to compete in the giveaway, and you just build a good following that way. It's just by giveaways. It's easy, it's simple, and if you collaborate with a business, it can work really well.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Say you're starting up a podcast.
Okay.
It's just kind of your own thing. You're not really working with anybody else on it just yet, but it's just something you really enjoy. What would you say is the best social media to market yourself on?
What's your podcast about? Because that's going to determine what social media platform you're on.
Correct.
Let's use...
I can't. There's no blanket answer for.
No, for
oh
sure.
yeah. I mean, my answer is all of them. But what's your podcast about? Then you can leverage one platform over the other.
Let's use sports, for example.
Sports.
Twitter.
Twitter. Be heavy on Twitter. I mean, heavy on Twitter. Be active. Be engaging. Comment on the hashtags you're posting. Like, click on that hashtag and find all the posts in that hashtag and just start commenting. Be very active. Be engaged. And Twitter is easy to be engaged. I mean, you can just sit there and
Yeah.
It takes time, but it's easier than, you know, navigating through like a Facebook hashtag or something like that.
Is it worth posting? It's like, say you're doing a podcast. Obviously, you should put them on any social media you can, whether that's like YouTube or Spotify or SoundCloud. But is there like, you know, you got to make sure you at least do that one. Like, is YouTube the place that you should be uploading podcasts at the bare minimum?
If you have video, yeah. I mean, build that YouTube audience, man. Start posting YouTube videos. There are different platforms you can use as a hosting site for your podcast, and they will distribute it to 7 or 8 different platforms. So, I mean, the big ones you want to be on are obviously Apple, and you want to be on Spotify. Pandora is okay, but another platform that they're starting to push heavy, and knowing the company that's pushing it, you kind of want to be behind them and on their boat is Amazon. Amazon's starting to push podcast heavy on their Amazon Music platform. So, like, they've been emailing me because I'm on there. I'm sure not me especially, but podcasters on there, they're sending out emails saying, hey, take these, you know, informational polls so we can better serve our podcast hosts and listeners. So Amazon's starting to do a serious push for podcasting. But yeah, get it on Apple, man. Get it on Spotify. If you're doing video, YouTube for sure. If you're not doing video, you can still upload the audio. Just play your audio with like some pictures or something. Like you're still gonna have to generate some type of video content for YouTube.
For sure. Cool. I don't know if you noticed when y'all were on air, when he was previewing the segment that we have coming up, I was typing up just a post, and he was like, we're talking coffee, video games. There was like a loud click, and I just stopped and look over. I'm like, why are y'all talking about video games? What could y'all be discussing?
Discussing something pretty cool. So Charlotte does not know. She doesn't know the girl.
For those tuning in, I
SJA.
myself
She knows
very excited for this upcoming
the
segment.
Claire girl. She is a teacher at SJA.
Okay.
So Charlotte took her while she was there.
Matherns.
You got it. Weather.
Yep. First try.
.637 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Time to welcome in Patrick Grimion. He hosts the Patty G Show and joins me every week to talk a little business, a little culture, a little social media as well. Patrick, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Brian.
You doing well?
I'm doing very well.
Glad to hear that. This week we got a lot of ground to cover, and we do have to make sure to tease the podcast for this week because you had Claire on this week.
Yeah, this is a podcast you brought on yourself.
Yeah. That's right.
You made it happen.
I
Brian.
did. It's an important topic. We talked about it up here. I got a little baseball bat and everything.
I got a bat.
She
too.
got you a bat
She got
too.
me a
That's
bat,
good
too.
to know.
I love the bat.
All right, but before we get to that though, earlier this week the Business Report held their breakfast. Dr. Lawrence Scott gave his forecast like he does every single year, and there are 60 Baton Rouge area companies that were honored at Tuesday morning's Best Places to Work breakfast. Guaranteed was in that number.
Congratulations is in order for y'all.
Hey,
That's
I know.
incredible.
All right, look, it shows, man. I love working
Oh
here.
my gosh, yes.
There were 60 companies honored overall, though. What I took away from the article at the Business Report, though, wasn't about which companies were there. It's about what employees are finding appealing.
Yes.
And this is something that I like. This is the stuff that's going to turn me into an old curmudgeon before my time. The headline reads, "An office cat paid time off for service among perks at Baton Rouge's Best Places to Work." We don't have an office cat here. We do have paid time off for service, though.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, we do.
maybe
If
need
you
an
are
office
giving
cat.
back, you can get a little help in that regard. I don't want an office cat.
Well, I mean, I think for something that y'all do is, radio, y'all can bring in guests and y'all can eat and drink while you work.
Well,
That's a pretty good perk.
it's a decent perk. But I got to tell you, like, if I'm job hunting, I'm not looking for that. Where I was at before this, it appears that like a lot of companies that are trying to attract Gen Z are doing things like having beer taps in an office kitchen. Like, oh, I could drink beer while I don't. Ping pong tables in the break room. Nap pods are very important to me, but like
Even quiet pods,
Yeah.
focusing pods. Brian, we've had this conversation over the course of since COVID started.
Mm-hmm.
We've been talking about what can businesses do, and now it's like it's coming to fruition, right? We're
Yeah.
seeing that stuff
well,
that we've
but
been
it was
talking.
trending that way before COVID.
And now it's proof. Proof's in the pudding now. That
Right.
We've got these 60-plus businesses that have done very well and have said they're the best places to work by their employees.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's, everything we've been talking about over the last year about how to make your business better, how to make your office life better, how can you get a work-life balance. It's true. We're seeing it from stuff such as the Baton Rouge Business Report.
If you're fresh out of college and you're looking for a job, and you're like There's jobs available, so there's a little bit of recruiting going on. What benefit do you get from ping pong tables? Like, how I don't. This is where I keep running into a brick wall. I don't get the appeal.
It's more of a stress relief.
Okay.
Right, because if you're, depending on whatever field it's in, it can be very stressful at times, very intense, and sometimes you just need a moment to break away, break free, and just have a little, little powwow, and ping pong's a great way to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great way to relieve some stress. It's kind of gets you up off your feet, gets you moving, gets you active, and gets your minds off things for even just a game, And so it's a way to take a break that's kind of fun, energetic, and gets you refreshed.
Flex schedules, how do they work in?
That is huge.
Yeah.
Like, for me specifically, flexibility is even more important than a ping pong table.
Well, okay, and you're about to welcome in a bebe.
Yes,
So
exactly.
as you do that, the need for a flex schedule and the need for paid time off and the need for, maternity, paternity leave is going to be through the roof as well. But the flex schedule, I'm finding more and more amazing that it's taken companies so long to adapt to this.
It's taken so long because you're in the mentality of, no, we have to be here from 9 to 5. That's just what it has to is. That's
Right.
what we have to do. It's what way it's always been. Why are we going to shift everything?
Right.
And then COVID gave us a big punch in the mouth, and now we're saying, wait, we can be productive outside of this time frame. We can be productive from home.
Mm-hmm.
How is this even a thought? We never had to embrace it in such the capacity that we have for the last 2 years.
Right.
And so now it's easy to see, flex scheduling, but even more so within flex scheduling, flex location
Yes.
working.
And that's another part of this, the whole equation is you don't have to physically be in the office to get. There's nothing I can't access from my house that I can't. Oh, there's nothing I can't access here that I can't get to from my house.
There's nothing that I can't access. Like, for example, I'm leaving to go to Nashville today once I leave from here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have the laptop open with my wife helping me get some work done while we're driving.
Right.
And it's like we're in a car and I have a laptop and I'm still able to get work done.
Right.
It's the way that technology has allowed us to get creative with our workspace.
So from a boss's perspective, how do you make that adaptation to let go like that? It's tough.
Very
It's tough
tough.
for an entrepreneur who has put their blood, sweat, and tears into a business that they started probably at their own kitchen table, grinding through the wee hours of the morning when they had their own job to go to after the fact because they're not up and running yet. They started literally from scratch, and they've built this up, and it's all of their sweat equity. It's all of their personal investment, and they're to the point now where they've got some employees, and the employees are looking for a little something back, and the give here is difficult.
It's difficult. And I think if you're a leader, if you're a boss, and you're wanting to explore this realm, you need to have an open line of communication with every one of your employees that you work with.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be able to either call them up on the phone, text them, Teams meeting them, stay in touch with them. Don't let them just do their work and say, I guess I'm doing a good job. I haven't heard from anybody. No one's told me I'm doing something wrong. You got to stay in contact with them. Say, hey, how was your day? Even have once a week powwow sessions. T. Brown from GMFS, he says what they do is, 2 or 3 times a month, they're going to have required days where you got to come into the office.
Which is cool, and not everybody has to have the same required day.
Right. Not everybody's got to have the same day, but if you're from a company perspective, if you're a boss saying, I want to maintain that company culture where people still know each other face to face, maybe you do have once or twice a month. Everyone's got to be in the office so everybody can see each other. You can collaborate. Maybe not even just to get work done, but just to kind of visit.
Well, and see, that's important as well, and it's going to be very unspoken, but with distance comes resentment. So, and different people work on different levels in different scenarios and areas. So you're going to see some employees are going to be asked to come in more often because they clearly get more done while they're there, and some employees are going to be like, I'm not.
Yeah.
And
some employees will voluntarily come in because they need that break.
But
They
we're also looking at a labor shortage right now in basically every field out there. There are jobs open in darn near every field available right now, which means that if you are an employer, you're really not in a position to Bigfoot anybody and just be like, there's the door.
Yeah.
I got 10 people lined up for your job anyway. You're not in that spot right now.
No. Case in point, what is it? An article came out yesterday about Cane's needing to hire 10,000 people company-wide, and they said our admin office will start working in the restaurants to truly live up to their fry cook cashier title and their signature.
Yeah.
We're going to take some administrative people and start putting them on the front line in the restaurants because we just don't have the labor.
Yes.
You know, you don't have that luxury of saying, you don't want to abide by our rules. Sorry, you're out of here.
Right. But if you've got the super productive employee who gets everything done from the house and the not so super productive employee who isn't being let go just yet because there's nobody to replace them, the super productive employee is going to develop that resentment because they're not physically seeing the other people every single day.
That is a tough act to balance. Very tough.
Why do I bust my hump when so-and-so is you-know-what around and, like, I don't need to see social media posts from somebody who's like, I'm at the park with the kids today. It's so great to have flex like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
How do you avoid that level of resentment? We'll dive into that in a little bit. Also, there's a couple of local topics, local businesses to look at when we come back. Got to take a quick break. Coming right back after we check traffic and your money now on Talk 107.3. I wanted to leave some room for either a promo or if I can get that Mathurns in.
Ooh, Troy made a valid point.
What?
Wouldn't it be better just work for a place where you're not needing to look for a ping pong table?
It's not the company's fault you're looking for a ping pong table, though. Sometimes it's just the work.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, okay, so if you work in marketing, right, creativity is key.
Sometimes playing that game of ping pong can get creative.
Right. Yeah, it's not about I get your point, Troy. If you've got an overbearing Lumberg as a boss, you still don't know that reference, do you?
Lumberg.
If you knew, you'd know.
Yeah.
If you don't have your overbearing Lumberg as a boss, then yeah, I get that point. But a lot of times it's just like, okay, if you've got writer's block, some kind of, and writer's block is just an example, but you need some kind of release, just flush everything out. Let's step away for a minute. It doesn't have to be ping pong. It used to be a smoke break.
Yeah.
It's
changed.
Yeah. It's when you don't have people, and that was another thing I used to get pissed about a lot.
Smoke breaks when you weren't a smoker?
I don't smoke.
When I worked in the restaurant industry, same thing. I'm like, they
I'd
all
have-
get their smoke breaks. Can I have a timeout break?
Coworkers, they would break for 7 to 10 minutes at a time every other hour. And I'm like, over the course of an 8-hour shift, you're talking about losing close to an hour. If every other hour you lose 8 minutes, then that's 8 times 4 is 32. That's an extra half-hour break.
Yeah, no, I definitely get it. And to Clinton's point, absolutely. It's hard to have employees that don't have ownership to work as hard and want it as much as a business owner.
Right.
It's
but looking at it as sunk
difficult to
cost
get
is,
that.
I don't know how you. Clinton's right in theory. It disappears in practice.
I think it's a tough pill to swallow in practice.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
National Fluffer. What's a fluffernutter?
It's a peanut butter. What's peanut butter and banana or peanut butter and something? Yeah.
Very interesting. I've never heard of fluffernutter.
It's peanut butter and marshmallow cream.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's good.
Very interesting.
Talk 107.3 is giving you a chance to enjoy a true Louisiana staycation on us at either the Renaissance or Watermark Hotels. Simply take our staycation survey at talk1073.com and you'll be instantly registered for one of 2 staycations each month at the Watermark or Renaissance. September's winners, Angela Girona won the stay at the Watermark, and Victoria Bankston, the one at the Renaissance. Go take the survey now at talk1073.com.
We don't have ping pong tables because you won't need one here.
No.
Yeah, you could go with a different. I mean, you don't need a ping pong table if the work is energetic and exciting enough. Rob Wise with IT Inspired, they have what is it? Nerf gun battles. every Friday or something like that. Once a week they have Nerf fights.
See, all right. That shit feels forced to me. No offense to Rob. I appreciate that he's thinking outside the box to try and come up with something fun. But that's the kind of thing where if it's organic and it happens and it's fun, it's awesome.
Yeah.
But, like, we have scheduled fun at this time.
I get that. Well, it's the same thing as, like, company outings.
See, but I love. Okay, it's weird because
it's scheduled time.
It is scheduled time, but it's for some reason it's more special if it's off site. Like you're.
Yeah, I get that.
And you're doing something different every time. I don't know.
I've never been a part of Rob's Nerf fights, so I don't know.
True.
If it feels organic.
True.
Rob, if you're listening, invite me to one of your Nerf fights.
Right.
I'll bring my weapons. I'll bring my arsenal. But it's just creative thinking outside the box of how to make the workplace fun.
It is.
You know, whether it be like, so what we do every normal tax day is we've all got like phones in the office, and you can do like a conference or not a conference.
Hang on one second. Come straight back before the bump. No bump. Come right to me.
You did an intercom, and my boss will blare final countdown on tax day.
I know it's a little early to start thinking about lunch, but let me ask you, have you started thinking about lunch? And let me suggest McVea Burgers, Fries, and Shakes. They've got 2 locations in Baton Rouge, one on Seagan, just north of Industrialplex, and one on Bluebonnet at Highland. At both locations, you will find the best burgers in Baton Rouge, hands down. Hands down the best burgers in Baton Rouge. I'm a Double Diablo guy. I like it spicy. It's got the jalapenos on it. It's got the pepper jack cheese. It's got the Cholula sauce. I pair that with sweet potato fries, and I dip them in honey. You get spicy and sweet combination that is just to die for over there. If spicy's not your thing, no problem. You like cheese? Who doesn't like cheese? Who doesn't like queso? They've got the best quesonario. Yeah. Fantastic burger. They pour the queso right on the burger. You can get the well-done with the onion strings on it. You can get the mushroom Swiss. Top quality ingredients, top quality service. Both locations of McVea Burgers, Fries, and Shakes. Seagan and Industrialplex or Highland. Perkins. Bluebonnet at Highland.
As you're describing all these burgers, you got Go Slim behind you.
Do what? Oh, I know. What are you going to do? Yeah, I know the Go Slim logo's behind me while I'm doing a spot for McVea. That's how the two things work together. This is synergy, man.
That's it. McVea pays to have that in the background. Or Go Slim pays to have it in the background.
Well, but at the same time, though, they work together. I love my McVea, so I got to, counterbalance it by being responsible with the rest of the diet all week long.
Absolutely.
That's the way that
have
rolls.
One good meal at McVea and then go to Go Slim after that.
Yeah. I mean, that's we live in South Louisiana, man. There's no stopping like Rocco's Po' Boys.
No.
Or Rufino's.
Or like looking at your calendar, okay, I've got to be good for these days and these days because this big event's coming up or this festival's coming up. It's like, wait, the whole calendar all year long, it never stops.
You start on January 6th, right? I'm not talking about the insurrection at the Capitol. I'm talking about King's Day.
Yeah.
I'm talking about King's Day is the beginning of the Mardi Gras season.
Right.
King cake is on the table. So you go from Mardi Gras to Lent, which means boiled crawfish,
right,
to Easter.
Because that's
right.
really sacrificing there.
Yeah, I know, right? we fry catfish. We give it up. So you go from Mardi Gras to Lent. So you go from king cake to crawfish, from crawfish to grilling season.
Yep.
From grilling season to tailgate season, from tailgate season to the holiday season. You tell me when's a good time
Never.
to diet in Louisiana. There's no good time.
No, you have to figure out a way to get
Right.
light with your crawfish,
No, you don't get light with you get light on the other
Throw
days
some
of the week.
celery in there.
That's actually good.
I know.
I know. Olives. Throw olives in there.
I've never done olives.
Oh, so good.
Okay, like just a plain jar of olives, stuffed or not stuffed?
With the pimento in them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll do that next bowl.
All right. Headline reads, video game idea born at St. Joseph's Academy leads to women-led business. A women-led video game design studio hopes to bring a concept first hatched in St. Joseph's Academy classroom to the marketplace. If successful, Ghost Garden Games would strike a blow for Baton Rouge's small video game sector and for women in a mostly male-dominated industry. Quote, People are really excited to see more women in technology, and we're really happy to be doing what we're doing, says Catherine Nastasi, producer and technical artist with the Young Company. As high school students in 2015, Nastasi, Asher Lejeune, and Leslie Ann Warrington came up with the core narrative, aesthetic, and project ideas for Echo, a single-player action-adventure game. Claire, is it pronounced Lucart?
I believe so.
And my daughter's only a freshman. I don't know her yet.
That.
Yeah. Who taught the technology class, would later join the development group as lead software engineer. Love the fact that this is happening organically in Baton Rouge.
I love it's happening organically in Baton Rouge, and later on in the article, it goes on to say that they could have taken jobs at bigger companies, but they wanted to do it here.
Yeah.
That is what really strikes me about this.
Yeah.
Like, they wanted to do it here. They're doing it at the Nexus Technology Park right there in Bon Care. Like, they're here. They're local.
Bon Carré.
I'm sorry. All right. I know.
Good
Pronunciations.
Lord. Good Lord, man. Yeah, well,
But
Nastasi
they wanted
says
to stay here.
we wanted to choose our own projects and let our own voices really come through in our products. We just wanted to join together and create something of our own. And there's something to be said for that. Like, there's something to be said for it's easy to take a quick paycheck.
It's easy to create your idea. They could have done a storyboard for this game
Right.
and sold it to Sony or some
And then
big
it becomes
game
homogenized
manufacturer.
and
right.
falls into in line with everything else. But if you're doing your own thing, going out on your own, you're taking a much greater risk.
It is a much greater risk, and I think the article goes on to say they want to have this game go out for 2024.
Okay.
So they're working to get some levels to get something to present to investors.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge. So they're not just creating an idea and selling it off. They're actually creating this world, designing this, coding this, which is really incredible. It's another technology business that's staying here in Baton Rouge. That's huge.
I think the moral of this story, SJA is pretty friggin' fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, that's just one example of the stuff that's coming out of that place.
I know.
And I'm not just kissing up because my daughter's a freshman there. I'm just like, it is overwhelming to see what they're doing.
And to see a teacher being involved in it, you know?
Right?
That's the cool part.
Yeah.
They're taking their skills outside of the classroom and helping their fellow their past students become successful in something that they want to do. And
Also, and this is neither here nor there, there's more than one Catherine Nastasi in South Louisiana.
there is.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Got another one over on the North Shore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you got one at SJA, one at St. Scholastica.
It's the name.
I know.
But it's still very exciting to see that they're doing it here. They're designing, a game.
Right.
A video game, you know.
Well, and that is
how
such a
challenging it
male-dominated.
is?
Well, yeah, in and of itself, yes, but it's such a male-dominated world.
It is a very well male-dominated world, and to see them come in and say, look, we're going to do this better. We're going to do it the way we want to do it. And with all of your Twitch streaming platforms, they can now get the support they need more than ever.
Yeah.
By saying, look at us designing and coding this game. People will watch it. They'll become attracted to it. It's exciting.
Yeah.
Very exciting for Baton Rouge.
Very much so. We got 1 minute to go.
Okay.
Let's talk about the podcast this week.
Yes.
You
Oh,
could-
see, I have a very bright blue bat.
The Young Entrepreneurs Academy is on the podcast this week.
Claire Willis got the executive director on this week. It is a phenomenal episode. We talk about learning, not just from a classroom setting, but how learning can be done in every single day life.
It's so recalling my own conversation with Claire, and I'm the one that
You put us in touch.
Yeah,
You know,
and-
yes.
yeah.
I throw your name in there in the episode. You know, thanks to Brian Haldane for getting us in touch.
She's phenomenal.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. But everything we just talked about from a business climate, she's working that from an educational climate as well.
Yeah, she's helping those students foster their idea, take it to reality, and actually put it in the marketplace.
Yeah.
They're not just saying, here's what an entrepreneur does. You
You're
have
gonna
to have a business.
You're going to see a lot more stories like the one out of SJA because of something like this. Available wherever you get your podcast. It's the Patty G Show. He joins us every Thursday. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you, Brian.
We got. You were right. You were right. That was the out. Anyway, got my little Marucci bat from the Young Entrepreneurs Academy.
I like it.
Yeah.
Got a bright blue one.
I like having this little bitty bat though because I feel like Dave Winfield. Remember Dave Winfield from like the 70s and 80s? Hey, he was so big he always made the bat look tiny.
Yeah.
So
You feel powerful?
feel like Dave Winfield. Yeah. Oh look. Watching a bit delayed, but I particularly like the Go Slim ad while reading about burgers and shakes. Nice touch. Stay tuned. Your wife has talk about your wife. Hey! 1 year ago today, you sat down with Christy's niece.
I did? Oh, I sure did. October 7th. Dude, they're doing some incredible things, too. Love me. Love me some Hero & Co. An axe-throwing lane next to the break room is probably off the table, but it would inspire me to properly use the new TPS cover sheet.
Do me a favor. This weekend, watch the movie Office Space.
Office Space, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll get the show going with you, me, and Chuck P at some point in the near future.
Yeah.
But
And
I
look,
just every time I reference Lumberg, he's an overbearing boss, right?
yeah.
It just the guy is like always walking between the cubicles with a cup of coffee.
Oh, yeah, I've heard you talk
Yeah.
about it before. Well, and so in all honesty, November to December is going to be a good time to kick it off
Okay.
because I'm taking a break from recording normal shows.
Yeah.
So I'm doing like Flashback Friday segments via Zoom, but they're only 15, 20-minute segments just to keep content in the show relevant while I'm on, I guess, paternity leave from the show.
What we're trying to figure out, our sticking point here is licensing for the movie to be able to, like, to what level are we legally allowed to reference it? Like, soundbite wise, can we show still photos?
Yeah, it's all those logistics.
Yeah, we're not going to violate any copyrights or anything like that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's still a really good idea for a
It's
podcast
an
or for a
excellent idea.
YouTube show.
But it's
The cinematic education of Patty G.
exactly. But it's not even. It's bigger than that. It's good.
Such a
for,
Wes
like,
Anderson title.
Yeah, but it's good for like Gen Zers trying to get a new take
Right.
on old movies, or parents able to watch it and relate to it and be like, oh my gosh, kids, this is what I've been telling you about.
Right.
Like it's just a good, and it's gonna be fun because we can have great banter. I mean, it's not like we're three people that don't know each other, you know.
Exactly. So, all right, we didn't get to the coffee people, but I don't care.
They were gonna be pretty fun
Good
to
segment.
talk about from a marketing perspective. Like, what do you do as a marketing director that roasts your own coffee? TikToks for days.
There's a TikTok business right there.
That's TikTok made all over.
Coffee on TikTok is like
It's huge.
pancakes and breakfast.
Yeah. Especially whenever all the other platforms go down for a day.
I don't.
If you do anything that's remotely satisfying that you can capture on video from your perspective, put some nice music behind it.
Grass cutting.
Hit the
All right, I'm out of here.
later.
That'll be good.
Alright, Senator. We're gonna be live momentarily when we get you on. Thank you. Please hold.
All right. Yeah, I don't understand how anyone hasn't seen Office Space. It makes no sense to me. All right, I still owe you him a Therns. I need as much room for Senator Cassidy as possible, though, so I'm probably going to push him back by another segment.
Nothing on this, and then Howard Jim.
Song came on Pandora while I was driving yesterday. Ugh. Freaking love this song. It's just, when you hear it randomly outside of...
Does it just kind of put you in that mindset like
windows down on Government Street, just singing along. .705 Talk 107.3 FM. Oh, 706 now. Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Hour 2 of Mornings with Brian Haldane coming your way. Thanks again to Patrick Grimion for hopping on board. Talk a little bit about the Patty G Show, talking a little business. We move directly now. Normally in this segment we have top stories in trending. I'm more than happy to bump that when we've got news from Capitol Hill, and that's exactly what we've got right now. Senator Bill Cassidy is on the hotline. Senator Cassidy, good morning. Welcome back to Talk 107.3. How are you, sir?
I'm great, Brian Haldane. Man, you sound like you're over-caffeinated, buddy. What are you drinking in the morning?
I live on those little 5-hour energy shots. I love them. And, yeah, I'm fully raring to go this morning. We got a lot of ground to cover, not the least of which is you put your best effort forward. You and Senator Rubio and a number of other colleagues introduced a bill to delay flood insurance premium hikes for Louisiana. What is the latest?
Yeah, so we've got a 1-month extension of the National Flood Insurance Program. That's one part of it. Secondly, Risk Rating 2.0, which has already gone into effect October the 1. Unfortunately, could not delay it. Folks will see a bump in their premium, and it won't be that much, frankly. But the concern is it's like a balloon note. 5 years from now, you're going to really see it increase dramatically. It's just like, it doesn't go up kind of like a straight line, kind of slowly going up. It goes up, and then it goes up.
Right.
So we still have time kind of to address this before it really impacts people. But at some point, it's going to be, to put it, the Congressional Budget Office estimates that because of these Risk Rating 2.0 increases, about 20% of people currently in the National Flood Insurance Program will drop out because of premium increases. Now, that puts you into an actuarial death spiral. That's not a good thing. We need a program which is sustainable. By the way, one way to make it sustainable is obviously to lower the expense. In our infrastructure package, there's $3.5 billion to mitigate risk for flooding in areas that have recently flooded. Clearly, Louisiana would qualify. And that would take out some of the high-risk properties, which would lower the premiums for everybody else. So we're trying to make the program affordable and sustainable. The Risk Rating 2.0 is not the way to go. We'll continue to kind of modify that, if you will.
Yeah, and that is an important factor that can't be overlooked in all of this is over the last, 2 hurricane seasons, we've seen more than our fair share here on the Gulf Coast. So that means that insurance companies are going to be paying out. Now, outside of hurricane seasons where we're seeing floods as well, we saw it back in May and whatnot. So, shoring things up to make sure that it's a nice balance,
Well, you got to make it affordable and sustainable.
Right.
And you make it sustainable by raising homes, if you will, by those homes that repetitively flood, buying out the owner. Now, also, on our, and you can also do it by completing the Comey diversion or coastal restoration. So there's a variety of ways that we can do it. The biggest hit to the flood insurance program came after Katrina when the levees failed. A $20 billion hit to the program. You wipe that away, it's actually doing pretty well. Okay?
Yeah.
Let's get some levees. Let's complete those levees down in the bayou region. That will prevent those homes from flooding. We've already seen benefits from those that have already been built, but we need to make them, better and stronger. We've got to have a multi-pronged approach. You asked me about it, brother. I think about this all the time.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of ways that we need to address it.
Well, in a weird way, Hurricane Ida is a huge selling point for this. Because what we saw with Hurricane Ida was inside the levee protection, it was nothing but wind damage. Outside levee protection was where you saw flood damage, and that should tell you that every effort we've put into mitigating flood damage has worked to now. Let's keep feeding that.
Well, of course, that's why I'm proposing. That's why I'm so supporting the infrastructure package, not the reconciliation bill, not the $3.5 trillion tax and spend extravaganza that Bernie Sanders wrote. No, I'm talking about the hard infrastructure bill, which has billions for coastal restoration, billions to harden the grid, billions for flood mitigation. It benefits our state tremendously.
Got a couple minutes left with Senator Bill Cassidy. I got to ask you about one that I'm completely in the weeds on. You and a number of other colleagues are asking Democrats to abandon a proposal that would compromise financial information for a number of Americans. I don't understand how this comes up in the first place, and please tell me you're winning this battle.
Well, so I don't know if we're winning the battle till we see what happens with the tax and spend extravaganza. Democrats are proposing, and by the way, Washington Democrats, which we have conservative Democrats back home, 65 years and plus typically, because that's they registered that when they ran for office or when they began to vote or something like that. But up here, we're talking Bernie Sanders Democrats, and they've got this $3.5 trillion tax and spend extravaganza. And you got to pay for it in some way, at least have a fig leaf of paying for it. Mm-hmm. One way they want to do is look at all transactions for all Americans, $600 and more. Now think about that. Wait, $600? That could be a credit card bill. That could be, a mortgage note. That could be it's a kind of a picture into the financial life of like almost every single American.
Yeah.
And the IRS would amass this data and search through it to be kind of looking at our financial records. It is a way to put big government into our lives in a way it has not before. We're not talking, as Bernie likes to say, millionaires and billionaires. We're talking like, Brian Haldane,
right.
Joe Cassidy, everybody listening. So there's a real concern about all this, and a real concern. And so whether or not we stop it, how effectively are we going to stop the $3.5 trillion tax and spend extravaganza? And that's what's at issue right now.
My issue with it is the access. If you've got access to monitor stuff at $600, you have access to monitor stuff at $599.
Well, I mean, I just don't think that is a threshold. That is a threshold which is pretty low.
Yeah.
Any threshold that captures 90%, 95% of Americans who bank, probably more than that. I had a banking account when I was a kid, so my parents gave it to me to teach me the value of saving. I don't think I ever got the $600. That's not the point. We're talking about like adults. So anything that captures the financial data on almost every American who banks is too broad a picture. Period. End of story. But it also shows how desperate they are to spend, for this $3.5 trillion tax and spend extravaganza. Let me tell you, one of their provisions to pay for it is to give the IRS, I think, $40 billion or $60 billion over 10 years, and from that raise $1 trillion. Now, wait. The IRS, maybe you could give them some more money. Maybe they go after some people who are, keeping their money in Cayman Islands illegally, that sort of thing. Okay, we can understand that. But you're going to raise $1 trillion? It just kind of, I don't think so.
No.
But they're doing it by going after you and me. Everybody listening right now. It's wrong. We're fighting it. Hopefully we can stop it. But they are committed to it.
Well, you want to see me pull my money out of the bank completely and do everything on a cash or trade basis in a hurry? I mean, this would create a black market and a barter system in America that would just have remarkable repercussions. I got less than 60 seconds left before we got to get you out of here. The latest on your infrastructure package, where are we at?
Well, so a lot of support by the American people. You look at polls, American people want better roads, and universal access to internet. Unfortunately, it didn't pass on September 27th. Republican House members decided not to vote for it. That gave the progressive wing of the Democratic Party incredible leverage. With that leverage, they said, okay, delay the vote. So there's a lot of internal Democratic politics right now. We're still fighting to get it through, keep it de-linked from the infrastructure, from the $3.5 trillion tax and spend extravaganza. Hey, brother, we need to talk in a month to see if it works out.
Well, then we will schedule that, and we will talk in a month. We always appreciate the time. Senator Bill Cassidy, thank you so much.
Thank you, Brian.
Absolutely. 7:15, Talk 107.3 FM. Quick break. When we come back, let's talk Our Lady of the Lakes plans for a new cancer center. I hope he was. There he is. Whew. All right.
I'm Jake. It's his producer. But Thank you.
Dr. Nuss? Yeah. Is it Daniel Nuss? Is it right? Daniel Nuss. Debbie says, does this include Congress? My guess is no. .717 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP Hour 2 of Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. All right, so the announcement was made earlier this week about Our Lady of the Lake. They're going to be diving into their own building, their own facility for cancer treatment. We are joined right now by Dr. Daniel Nuss from Our Lady of the Lake. He's heading up that transition. Dr. Nuss, good morning. Welcome to Talk 107.3. How are you?
Good morning, Brian. I'm well. How are you?
Doing very, very well this morning. So, big announcement, big news. Let's go ahead and start by recapping what the overall announcement is and what folks in Baton Rouge can expect from Our Lady of the Lake.
Yes, sir. My pleasure, and thanks for talking with me this morning. First of all, Our Lady of the Lake has decided to create its own Cancer Institute, which will go by that name, Our Lady of the Lake Cancer Institute. And this was prompted by a long experience in cancer care in the community and beyond, and also by recent changes in the surrounding cancer care market. As you know, Mary Bird Perkins announced that it was partnering with a national organization to take a different route, and Our Lady of the Lake, of course, being the biggest hospital in Louisiana and also being the highest volume cancer care center, has decided that it will create its own cancer center and cancer institute, I should say. And we're very excited about it, and they have pledged a great deal of energy and resources, including a $100 million budget to do this and do it right.
A $100 million budget. It's going to be its own existing structure. Do we know where it's going up? I mean, I assume near campus.
Yes, it will be adjacent to the campus that's on Essen Lane now, and there are 3 possible sites that are under discussion, and each of those is being actively explored. In whichever site they choose, it will be adjacent to the hospital and connected to the hospital, so that patients can receive both their outpatient and inpatient cancer care. And whether that's going for a diagnostic procedure or going for an operation or going for medical treatment like chemotherapy, we will be able to do it all from one central hub, which is going to be extremely convenient for patients and families.
The title Cancer Institute covers a lot of ground. Will there be specific focuses within, whether that be on research or tackling specific cancers? Will there be, like, how narrow of a scope are we going to have on this?
Well, I love this question. So it is a big distinction between a cancer center and a cancer institute. The word institute implies that there is more going on than just the standard delivery of services. So from my standpoint, I have a career with the LSU School of Medicine, and I am actually a head and neck surgeon by trade, and I've spent most of my career operating on people who have cancer and educating young doctors and medical students and other healthcare students about what we do. So the word institute implies not only that we're going to continue to deliver expert cancer care to each patient, but to do it in a comprehensive way that allows them to have every service that you could imagine that's needed, so that patients don't have to travel outside of our state or farther beyond for even the more complex cancers. The comprehensive nature of the Institute also means that we're going to have experts in every type of cancer from head to toe, essentially. And that includes a number of well-organized groups that have already been in place for nearly 35 years at Our Lady of the Lake. And these are what we call multidisciplinary cancer teams. And these multidisciplinary teams are organized around disease processes. For example, there's a team for what I do, which is head and neck cancer. There's another team for lung cancer. There's another team dedicated to colon and rectal cancer. There's another team dedicated to hepatobiliary cancer, which is essentially liver, pancreas, and the deep internal organs of the abdomen. And we have programs dedicated to breast cancer and other types of cancers. So essentially what the word institute implies is that and so much more, is that you will see physicians from each of the cancer disciplines that are really dedicated to your particular type of cancer. And when I say each of the cancer disciplines, what that means is we have surgeons who are dedicated to the surgical side of it. We have medical oncologists who are dedicated to the giving the medications and managing the medical outcomes that cancer brings. And then we also have radiation oncologists who are going to be available in the Institute to take care of patients who need radiation therapy. And beyond that, so those are the three things most people know, right? Surgery, radiation, and chemotherapy. But beyond that, there are lots of other elements that make it an institute, which is the provision of the so-called support services. So, for example, patient navigators, so that every patient who walks in the door has a question about where they're going to go, or what time they need to be there, or how they need to prepare. The navigators, who are either educated RNs or very well-trained social workers, this is an amazing team of people who just can make it happen. You can snap your fingers and say, yes, this is exactly what we're going to do, and here's where you go, and let me show you how to get there. That's one element. The other element is that we have case coordinators, and very importantly, we have a research team here that is dedicated to enrolling patients into clinical trials so that they can participate in the most up-to-date cancer therapy trials that offer tremendous benefit for particularly the unusual or aggressive cancers that we see. So there's a lot of elements to this, and it's a lot of moving parts. But I would emphasize that Our Lady of the Lake has been in the organized cancer business for more than 35 years and has already been accredited as a comprehensive community cancer program by the Commission on Cancer, which has tremendously high standards. Yeah. And that accreditation's been in place since 1990. So we're well organized to do this. We're just taking it to a different level with a fancy new facility and a wonderful patient-friendly facility and atmosphere.
Dr. Daniel Nuss is our guest. We're talking about Our Lady of the Lake's proposed new cancer center. And so I'm hearing a lot of diagnosis, a lot of treatment, and a lot of support. What about on the research end?
So on the research end, we are also well organized. We already have affiliations with the National Cancer Institute's programs, which help us to enroll patients in experimental therapies or modifications of existing therapies that will need further study. And what that means is that if you, for example, let's say that you've already been treated for cancer somewhere and your cancer comes back and you're running out of options, those are desperate situations, right? And I think we've all heard about friends or family members who have gone through that. And when that happens, the availability of these kinds of patient-centered research programs really is a game changer, because it offers hope where there isn't a lot of hope otherwise. And that's part of it. The other part of it is that we have a plan to develop a tumor banking enterprise. And what does that mean? It means that we take a small piece of a specimen that comes from any cancer that we treat. When a biopsy is done, there are microscopic pieces of tumor. We bank those tumors, we analyze those cells and the genetic and molecular structures of those tumors, and that can translate down the line into better strategies for the so-called targeted therapies, where we use, most people are familiar now that we are still using traditional chemotherapy, but more and more we are using what's called targeted therapies or immunotherapy to basically attack the individual patient's cancer in an individual way that's really tailored to what that tumor is showing in its molecular markers. So it's complicated stuff, but that's part of the research side of it. The other element of the research side of it is that, which makes me very happy, because as I said, my career has been with the LSU Medical School and Health Sciences Center for many years, and I'm still in that role. But in my new role as the Cancer Center Director, I am also going to be engaged with the educational processes. So a lot of people ask, what does medical research do for me? Well, here's what it does. It enrolls people into a program where you have teachers and professors and senior-level educators who train the next generation of young doctors, young nurses, young therapists, rehabilitation specialists, etc. So we're partnered not only with LSU, but also with the Pennington Biomedical Center and with Our Lady of the Lake's own graduate medical education programs. So there's a boatload of ongoing education that takes place right in the midst of expert cancer care.
Dr. Daniel Nuss is our guest. He's with Our Lady of the Lake's new cancer center, or handling the transition into the new cancer center. Dr. Nuss, what the vibe I'm getting here is you're basically just trying to reduce the number of trips to MD Anderson in Houston. I mean, we want to be self-contained here in Baton Rouge.
I think that's probably one of the biggest points that I think will hit home with most people, because, the thing about cancer care is that it's intensive, right? And it's, for many people, it's a marathon. So if you have a situation where you have to get your care out of state or travel any substantial distance, it's a tremendous burden emotionally, because, especially with COVID now, people are separated from their loved ones at the time when they need them most, right? And then the other element is that people are really in dire straits financially, because many of these travel costs and being hospitalized out of state, many people don't have coverage for that. And so you end up selling your house, or losing your life savings over just getting the treatment you need. And I think that is a major benefit of having a comprehensive cancer institute right here in Baton Rouge.
I mean, any shot of partnering with Buc-ee's to make sure there's no advantage to going to Houston anymore?
Well, we can't provide that. But
okay.
Great point.
Give me a timeline before we get you out of here. Construction set to begin next year?
Yes, sir. Early 2022, and architectural firms have already been vetted and the final selections being made for that. So we do expect that groundbreaking will happen in early 2022 with a target for completion within a year and a half to 2 years.
Okay, so we could be talking 2024 with this before this is up, running, open, and here to serve Baton Rouge. In the meanwhile, we can't tell you how much we appreciate the time. Dr. Daniel Nuss, thank you so much for hopping on board.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Everybody have a good day. Thank you, Brian.
You do the same. I mean, they've got the rep. They've got the staff. They've got, when it comes to cancer treatment, like you said, it's certified since 1990. They've got the street cred to begin with. But backing away from just Our Lady of the Lake and looking at the level of cancer services Baton Rouge is going to have overall, this little rift here, this little split where Mary Bird Perkins is opting for one oncology and Our Lady of the Lake is saying we're going to pick up the baton and carry it ourselves as well. From a service standpoint, this is going to be a win for Baton Rouge. I mean, not taking shots at either one of those outfits because they're both top-notch. This is going to be a win for Baton Rouge in a big, big way. I appreciate Dr. Nuss's time. He was fantastic. I believe on the air we had an EAS test in the middle of that. Don't worry. What you missed is going to be available on demand at talk1073.com. You can go back and get it later. The full audio of that interview, it will be available at talk1073.com. All right. We got news coming your way. Traffic, weather, Crimestoppers on the back end. We talk with Ike here today. Before we get you to news, though, got to remind you about the folks over at Mathern's. Are you getting ready for game day? If you're not making the trip up to Lexington, maybe get yourself a party tray from Mathern's. Maybe get yourself geared up for a solid game day all day long with Mathern's. They've got you squared away. Get your party trays, get your craft beer, get your regular beer. It doesn't have to be craft beer. They got good old-fashioned Bud Light as well. They've also got the rewards program going on right now. And I tell you about that because if you are gearing up for game day, you can get yourself a jump start on that rewards program. Start earning on every dollar you spend over at Mathern's by simply just give them your phone number when you go to check out. Start the rewards program right now. And, yeah, party trays available right now, all game day or up until game day over at Mathern's. There's two locations. They're downtown on 3rd Street. They're on Nicholson at Skip Burtman Drive, right across the street from Tiger Stadium. Get your game day squared away over at Mathern's Market. Just rolling along, and the freaking EAS test busts in. Okay, I wanted to know if that was blocking on air or not. Where you go to monitor what's on the studio monitor, there's EXT. Here, I'll show you. EXT1. So, program 1. That's the on-air signal. EXT1. When I asked for you to hear on air, that's what I'm talking about. I'm sorry, bring that back down again. I pushed it up to in here.
I was looking for on air.
Yeah, no, external. EXT, external. That's all right. No, it's monthly. Yeah.
All righty.
Good morning.
How's it going? Good morning. I know. Moving fast. Moving fast.
Good morning, Mr. Gelfrine. This is Brian. Brian, this is Mr. Gelfrine.
How you doing? Nice to meet you.
All right, you're gonna be right here in this one. Okay, great. You have the questions, Brian? I brought you one. If you don't have it.
Yes.
Okay, let me get my pick, my 1, 2, 3 before we go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. I see.
What?
Melting away.
Oh, I know. I'm getting there. I'm so close.
How much more do you have to go?
8.
What's the diet plan?
It's called Go Slim Nutrition. You know where Rouse's is at on Bluebonnet?
I do.
They're right next door. It's a protein-based diet, but what I love about it is because in my business I go to a lot of dinners and banquets and what it works within my lifestyle. I don't have to turn my life upside down. I'm very rarely hungry. It's a lot like Ideal Protein plus accountability.
Okay.
I go over there every single week and weigh in, sit down. Yeah, I call it food confession. I mean, I'm Catholic. It's like the closest thing to bless me, die for I have sinned type of thing. But no, I go over there and sit down every week and talk about okay, what are your challenges for the next week? Okay, well, I got this lunch on Tuesday. I got this dinner on Thursday. Okay, well, let's work through this here and figure out how to make sure we're doing it right. I've lost 50 pounds. Thank you.
And how long?
Well, so I started March, April.
No, I mean, you see some pictures, because I come every month. I'm like, but you walk. You walk with your wife.
I walk, yes.
Yeah,
That's something we started during the pandemic. Never thought I'd be that guy, but yeah.
Yeah, you walk.
And you enjoy it.
Oh, thoroughly.
All right, 1, 2, 3, let's go.
Yeah.
You want to get a minute?
Let's go. Oh, the name's up there, so we got everybody.
Oh, yep.
1, 2, 3, and got it.
All right.
And got it. Oh, let's go out of here.
It is.
Oh, wow. So I started a diet yesterday.
What diet did you start?
I'm doing something with Dr. Raina. She's looking at.
You're going to be successful.
Okay.
I can stop you right there.
Okay.
Dr. Rain is fantastic.
Yes.
I was in a little weight loss competition with attorney Franz Borghardt, and he beat me. He beat me. He's using Dr. Raina as well. So I assume you're doing something similar to him?
Probably so. The same thing if it's the same regimen that she uses for everybody. Yeah. I
Well,
started the potato diet. I couldn't do that.
Yes, you're on it. Oh, you're not doing the potato.
I couldn't do it.
Franz did potatoes and then went vegan and now then pescatarian, and he's slowly introducing
She looks
everything.
at your blood work and tell you what you can and can't eat and that kind of thing. I'm excited. Yesterday I started. My appetite was suppressed. I was excited about that for one day for me. That says a lot. So now just moving forward, I hope it really works for me.
Good. It should. Dr. Rain is pretty fantastic. Concierge weight loss is ridiculously good. It's commitment.
And she's honest, brutally. Sean Joffrion. SEAN JOFFRION. Mm-hmm. J-O. Mm-hmm.
Okay, what am I still? I still owe you one though, don't I?
You did
My Therns.
you did BRPT.
No, I know you BRPT. Okay. Yep.
Ready to go?
Yeah. .737 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Yes, it is time for Crime Stoppers. Once a month, we check in with the folks from eye care, find out what's going on in the schools, because a lot about solving crime involves preventing crime, and that means getting the message out young. In fact, we saw some headlines about that yesterday over in Texas. Right now, though, we are joined by Sean Joffrion. He's the Director of Fine Arts for East Baton Rouge Parish Schools. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. I'm well this wonderful Thursday morning.
It is a pretty great Thursday morning. Temperature's nice and right. No real chance of rain today. Humidity's nice and low. Let's dive right in. What brings you here today as part of eye care and Crime Stoppers?
Well, we're talking about Crime Stoppers and how it relates to arts. And arts in our district are huge. We have several different art forms that we use. And we work hand in hand with eye care, because eye care focuses on the whole child mentally. And with them, we do some wonderful, amazing things where kids can actually express themselves, talk about their feelings, their thoughts, beliefs, and we try to tie them in with the artistic side of them so they can be able to be the artistic being they could be.
This sounds like it's borderline therapy.
It is. It is. At the end of the day, to me, a true artist, and talking to other artists that are, going and being everything that they want to be professionally, or just being a part of being appreciative of art. When you get in art, you basically have the opportunity to express yourself however you would like. And what you choose to express can be shown through whatever you do artistically, be it visual art, music, whatever you choose to create. And that gives you the opportunity to just be you. And just be completely transparent in your thoughts, feelings, and ideas. And eye care helps with that, too, as well with us.
How long has the arts program been a part of the school system?
Since the inception, but...
Easy answer.
But actually being its own department and showing the importance of it, I would say in the past 25 years.
Okay.
Yes.
Take this question the right way.
Okay, I will.
Is it a tough sell? Because it's not. I don't think you see tangible results, but you definitely see results. Is it a tougher sell to maintain an arts program?
Oh, it is a tough sell. But now, with us looking at the tracks and research, showing how if you integrate arts into core curriculum, you begin to see a difference in kids' thinking and skill-based, particularly in science and math, and how you bring social studies to life through history and through music. Because at the end of the day, if you took any arts classes in school or in college, all of it goes back to history. All of it goes back to the sign of the times of why you got to where you are in this time in history now. So now with teachers, principals, administrators looking at art as basically, hey, this is a great intervention to get kids involved into core and meshing those two together. It's not a hard sell anymore.
Right.
And now you have kids, any kid, any child, any adult, when you go somewhere, you want to get something out of it as far as school is concerned. Now these classes give them the opportunity to do the fun, creative stuff, but learn at the same time crime, even in their arts classes, learning math, science, social studies, all of these things too as well. So it's not a big sell anymore. Now the biggest thing is, okay, which one is better? Because you have kids, you may have more kids who would want visual arts, more kids who want music, so it's just finding that niche and making sure. The biggest thing, the biggest sales pitch for us is, what I'm thinking the obstacle more so, is just funding.
Okay. Oh, and that's why I bring up the cell, is because that it always comes back around to that. Always comes back around to standing in front of the school board and saying, this is what you see, this is what you get. And I've always made the correlation between creativity and fine arts and, let's call it, cross-training the mind. Okay? There's you get the creativity in fine arts, and it allows you to open up and explore and learn in new ways, and you can apply that to other subjects as well. But I've never thought about it from a Crimestoppers perspective, from a therapeutic perspective. Adding that perspective to it as an outlet for that, I mean, that's just, that's gives you more to go with.
Oh, most definitely. Now, through Crimestoppers, and what I love about Crimestoppers allows the kids, because I'm a former principal too, allows you to understand, particularly children, the importance of being a part of your community and doing everything that you can do to make yourself a great citizen in the community in which you live. And with the Crimestoppers poster contest that we have every year that I'm thoroughly excited about, that I even give my own incentive for kids to be a part of it, it allows them to showcase their creativity so they can show how they can play a part in crime prevention and being alert about crime around them in their neighborhoods, in their communities.
Poster contest. Every time, Dr. Thornton's excitement every time she brings up the poster contest. She's out of the room right now, but every time she brings up the poster contest, I know she's getting geared up, and I know it spills over into the schools as well.
Yeah, and the kids are excited about that.
Absolutely. Look, see, she's literally dancing on the other side over there. What are some of the things the community is going to see from the district's art department this year?
Oh, many things.
Aside from posters.
Well, in December, we actually have a community event coming up. We're having our first ever ballet. And the ballet will be centered around ice cream and desserts. So now every child in the community, but you believe it or not.
Oh, I'm intrigued.
So every child in the community will have, that's a part of EBR schools, will have a part to be a part of that. They auditioned. They got placement for that particular ballet. And what we're going to do for our outreach night, which will be December 10th, is anyone can come to this ballet, just bring us a canned good, because we want to give back to the community during the holidays through the food bank, and bring us a toy, one toy for a needy child. On Saturday, it'll be open for the community. You pay $5 to go, and then afterwards you can eat desserts from area restaurants throughout Baton Rouge.
That's fantastic.
Also, we have our annual honor band concerts, jazz concerts. You can find those on our website. And in April, we will have our Arts in Schools Week, where we will have a gala for patrons who give back to arts programming in the community. We will have a concert with a national artist, and we will have a live festival, hopefully still waiting for the date, downtown, and we call that Art, Jazz, and Pizzazz, where you can see visual arts in 5 or 6 different areas of downtown, dancing, performances, the whole gamut.
And the results are amazing because they're all over the board, from every level of talent and ability to every level of creativity to things that we probably wouldn't have thought of in the first place.
Right.
Which kind of brings me around to a bit tougher of a question, and that is getting kids to get out of their shell. That's a tough ask as well, because we live in a world of bullying and cyberbullying. We live in a world of where they would rather keep everything close to the vest. How do you get kids to cross that threshold to truly express themselves and really get to where they're being a good mental spot in order to, through that expression?
Right. The biggest thing for me, the foundation of that, is finding a teacher or an individual you can trust, and finding an environment that allows you to be open enough and transparent enough to be yourself. And usually what I find with the arts teachers in EBR, they begin to set that foundation day one of class, and they get to a point where they can actually have those conversations and exercises for those kids to build that type of trust and camaraderie with each other, so they can be free enough to express themselves. And sometimes we still need eye care to come in, and our counselors to come in to help show them that, hey, this is a safe environment. This is a place where you can be yourself. And usually 9 times out of 10, we begin to see that come around through a child, through a poem, through a child who has a song they're interested in or some art they would like to draw. And we take that and we nurture their feelings, and we make sure that we celebrate the creative aspect and the outcome of what they bring back to us.
I want to run back to that schedule you ran down a little while ago about the events coming up. These aren't just limited to parents that have kids in public schools. This is open to everybody.
Open to everybody in the community.
Let's talk about the partnership with iCare,
Okay.
the working together. How does that work? How do y'all team up with
It's
them?
amazing because we have people like Susan Thornton, who comes from iCare, who knocks my door down. Mr. Joffrion, what are you doing? How can iCare be a part of that? And what we continue to do is work together to see how we can make it better for our children holistically as kids, mentally, and just be the child that they need to be for school. So when we have events, for instance, the one I was telling you about in December,
Yes.
iCare is playing a big part with the food drive, with the toy drive. When we think of things that kids need, particularly when it's time to perform, iCare is there. When kids get nervous, they are there to talk about your feelings, your thoughts, and just your expressions for that. They give us things, they come together as far as individuals of iCare come to our teachers, and they talk about things that are affecting kids as a whole, and then they work together and create exercises that they can go through to make their mental state better for kids in our district.
And this is
They are
not
amazing.
Yeah, they absolutely are. And this is just you talk about that holistic approach. This is
Yes.
one venue or one avenue where you might find a kid who might be within that shell a little
Yeah.
bit somewhere else, and they might feel that safe space, and they might express themselves, and you open up a whole new world for them who, they go to math class, PE, wherever, might be a little bit on the outside looking in, but find their groove over here. It's it's actually special to see it play out. Before we get you out of here, I got 2 minutes left.
Okay.
For folks that want to get involved within the arts program, maybe not just by bringing a toy and attending, but what opportunities are there for people to get involved?
Whatever you want to do, just bring it to us.
Okay.
We have our own website. If you go to www.ebrschools.org, go to Fine Arts. We have a whole site there. You can actually see what we do and how you can get involved. We are an open door. We have an open door. Anyone can come in. We have a lot of people in the community, particularly in the arts community, who have no children in EBR schools but want to play a part, be it donations, be it money, be it helping design a sets. We are open to any and everything when it comes to the arts because, again, we are one of the ones that pretty much have to fund ourselves to a certain extent. But but we have an open door policy for that. And like I said, any and everybody can get involved any way they choose to as well.
All the information we just talked about, the website, the events coming up, it'll be available on demand at talk1073.com. In the meanwhile, he is Sean Joffrion, the Director of Fine Arts for East Baton Rouge Parish Schools. Is that this website's right? ebrfinearts.com?
ebrfinearts.com.
ebrfinearts.com is where you check it out if you want to learn more, if you want to help out as well. Sean, thank you so much for hopping on board today.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Appreciate you. We've still got a lot of ground to cover today. We are going to hit the outside end in just a minute. We've got not top stars, This Day in History coming up next hour. Also going to talk a little bit about what's on the ballot next month, next hour as well. And a new show coming to the Discovery Channel. It is called Operation Hidden Treasure. And the host of that show, Jerry Flanagan, going to join us next hour as well. In the meanwhile, we got to check traffic. We got to check Your Money Now. Both of those things are coming your way. In fact, right now, we'll start with Your Money Now here on Talk 107.3 FM. That was fantastic. I kind of didn't go in order.
I'm good with that.
No, I appreciate. I figured it was more sequential to build up. So my mom's a teacher.
Okay.
And she is huge in the creative arts space. More along the lines of drama and music than the visual arts, but that's kind of how I was raised.
Oh wow.
So yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah.
You know
Oh
the
yeah.
fight.
Oh totally. And I know standing, begging for money in front of the school board is never an easy thing because it's not like you can say. Yeah. It's.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always going to be one of those intangibles, but at the same time, though, you show benefits.
Oh my God! And if everyone can actually see the benefits and what it brings to the table, it wouldn't be.
The creative thinking is what I get out of it. I had never even considered a Crimestoppers aspect. But for me, it's the creativity. And I mean, I work in a creative field now, in part because of that, you know?
Yeah.
So.
And everything can be taught through the arts.
Absolutely.
Everything.
Absolutely.
Well, you guys have a wonderful day.
You too. You too.
Yeah.
And thank you, Susan. Always. Yes. Okay. What's next week?
Red Ribbon.
Oh. Yeah. Big time.
Thank you so much. I will. Thank you.
Bye, sweetheart.
Bye. All right, talk to y'all.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
I was very well behaved in that, by the way. Because you know how hard it is for me to sit here and not say, hey, you know an art student that didn't get the proper guidance? His name was Adolf Hitler. Ever heard of him?
So I think they're going to be next week for the drugs.
Red Ribbon, yeah.
And then the next.
Hey, Jake, kill us off for a second.
So for 8:15, you said this is Don McVea?
McVea, yeah.
It's Don, right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought it was. It's just, you have my handwriting sometimes. I just write too small.
I just texted you back. I did. They're gone now. Crimestoppers? I just got him back there so he wasn't taking a visitor's spot. Oh, yeah, you're on the wrong side of the road, dude. Hey, go down at news when we hit news at the top of the hour.
I don't want to get scraped up. Appreciate
Do what? Yeah. When CBS News comes on, you'll have like 5 whole minutes to, or 4 whole minutes. I'll fire off traffic. So. .755 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Thanks again to Sean Joffrey for stopping by to talk about the arts program within EBR schools. Next hour, like we said, we've got a big hour coming your way next hour. Dawn Starnes McVea from NFIB is going to hop on board. We are talking about the upcoming proposal or constitutional amendment that's going to be on your ballot next month. Centralizing sales tax collection is a big one. Big one. We are one of two states that doesn't already have it. That's at 8:15, and then Operation Hidden Treasures at 8:40. Looking forward to both of those. Of course, Jake will have this day in history as well. Right now, though, we step outside of East Baton Rouge Parish every day for a little segment we call The Outside In. We're going to start off in Ascension Parish. The pilot of a state police helicopter sustained minor injuries in a crash landing near the regional airport yesterday afternoon. According to flight data, our news partners at WBRZ tracked the aircraft from the Baton Rouge airport. It's seen flying over the regional airport in Ascension near Pelican Point, navigating abruptly back north before its flight data stops tracking, indicating that it went down. State police revealed little about the situation in a news release yesterday, explaining the chopper pilot performed an emergency procedure to get the aircraft on the ground. The landing was so hard, it significantly damaged the aircraft and injured the pilot. Down to New Orleans, where a barge company responsible for a Mississippi River oil spill that significantly damaged shoreline habitat in South Louisiana back in 2008 has agreed to pay $2.1 million in damages and buy a wildlife habitat just miles from downtown New Orleans. Earlier this week, the U.S. Justice Department announced a settlement which seeks to bring about an end to a lawsuit over a 2008 collision caused by a tugboat pulling a barge loaded with fuel oil. This was reported by numerous news outlets. All total, it's going to be $6.6 billion price tag on this one. Over to Assumption Parish. Braxton LeBlanc has been a school bus driver for 16 years. He owns his bus, but might not be for much longer. He says, quote, "I'm in danger of losing my bus because I'm not getting my correct operational pay. I can't tell you the last time I paid a bus note," LeBlanc said. The school system says because of COVID, the board voted last year to stop paying drivers for days when buses are not running. Since then, the school has revised its policy for this year and now compensates drivers for the statutory amount of their operational pay, still less than what drivers were used to. Drivers were seeking to get back to the previous pay policy to put it back in place for good. Closing out with a multi-parish story. Been following the COVID numbers, right? Getting us back towards, or as the fourth surge wanes or goes away. Last week at this time, there were 6 parishes in Louisiana who were not at the highest rate of risk for COVID spread. That number jumped from 6 to 14 in 1 week. 6 to 14 in 1 week. The ones we're looking at right now that are gone from the hard red color to the orange color: Tensas Parish, Lafayette Parish, West Baton Rouge, Point Capee, West Feliciana, East Feliciana, Orleans, Jefferson, Plaquemine, and then you run the litany: St. Martin, St. James, St. John, St. Charles, and moving all the way down from the highest risk to a moderate risk, St. Helena Parish as well. Let's hope those numbers continue. Closing out in West Baton Rouge, courtesy of the West Side Journal, Officer Ronald Monroe Jr. was arrested and booked into the West Baton Rouge Parish Jail on charges of aggravated assault with a firearm, false imprisonment while armed, and domestic abuse. Monroe is a police officer with the Port Allen Police Department. He was arrested by Addis Police last night. He's also a former deputy with the EBR Sheriff's Office. He is on administrative leave without pay. Here's CBS News. All right, man. Minute and a half to spare, Jake.
Y'all done a nice job with this place.
A little bit.
Giving it a little fresh face. Hey,
Trying to, at least. It's yeah, it's process. It's a matter of like, so we're on YouTube right now. It's the camera right over there, and we're always hot on YouTube. Damn it.
Okay, good.
Sorry.
You missed.
I did.
I got you.
Thank you.
I got you.
But our sports station,
Yeah.
it's just been crushing the video space.
Yeah.
So we're trying to make that move, but it's so much slower for news talk.
Yeah, news talk is not as
well,
not as interesting for video, I guess.
Yeah, or not as. I don't know the right way to say it. It's not as viral as quickly.
Yeah.
You know.
From my perspective, from my age, we enjoy hearing more about entertainment than
right.
Like the stuff that we talk about here is heavy.
Yeah.
How old are you?
22.
Yeah. I could see that.
We like our content.
Yeah, I could see where that would be.
But there's also like, it's a tough ask to get people just to sit down and watch TV from 6 to 9 in the morning.
Right.
I mean,
No,
my
absolutely.
target demographic has shit to do.
Yeah, they're on the move.
Right.
They're listening on their phone. They're listening on their Alexa, whatever's playing at home.
They're listening to their car. They're
Whatever
listening. They're
car,
getting their kids dressed.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Just, so we know it's gonna be slow. It's gonna be on-demand content that once we're able to build into that space, right? That's where we'll make more of an impact.
That's great.
Yep.
You look great. You look like you've lost some weight. And
Thank you very much. I've lost 50 pounds.
wow, great.
Got 8 to go to my goal weight, and 8 to go to my goal weight.
Exciting.
If I really want to keep after it, I've got 14 to go. If I want to get back to the weight that I graduated high school at.
Should any of us really go back to that weight?
I feel like I can get there.
That's good. For a man, you probably can. I'm like, that seems like just a
pipe dream.
Pipe dream for girls.
Well, I like whiskey way too much.
Yeah,
so.
There's that. I enjoy my life.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and that's the beauty part of the diet that I'm on.
Yeah.
Is I haven't had to turn anything upside down.
That's great.
So yeah.
It's wonderful. You look great.
Thank you.
It's good to feel healthy. I know whenever you kind of drop weight like that, you start to just feel so much better.
Yes. Sleep better, more active during the day. Absolutely.
Yeah. That's great.
I owe you a BRPT?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. A little advertisement.
Yup. .806 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Hour 3 of Mornings with Brian Haldane coming your way right now. Big hour lined up for you here. Dawn Storms McVea going to join us in our next segment. We're going to be talking about the upcoming proposed constitutional amendments. They're going to be on your ballot next month. 1 month from now, really. Month and a couple days, actually. What are we looking at? What are we voting on? And how will it impact Louisiana? That's coming up in our next segment. Also this hour, we're going to talk with Jerry Flanagan. He's a former Army guy who's got a new show out now, a new show coming out. He's an Army veteran, and he's the host of the new Discovery Channel series, Operation Hidden Treasures. It's kind of cool. I'm reading up on it a little bit. If you've seen American Pickers, kind of similar to that, or at least that's the impression I've gotten. He's the owner of J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling. So I dig those shows, man. Anything where you like Pawn Stars, I can't get enough of. Storage Wars. I think that Storage Wars disappeared. Can't get enough of any of them. So looking forward to that conversation as well. We're going to get you to this day in history in just a minute. Do have to tell you about the folks over at Baton Rouge Physical Therapy, though. They bring you the outside in every single day, that last segment we did before news. And the reason for that is you can find them outside of East Baton Rouge Parish. You can find them in East Baton Rouge Parish as well. But they've got 6 locations throughout the greater Baton Rouge area. You'll find them in Ascension. You will find them in Livingston Parish. And, of course, you'll find them right here in EBR as well. Now, when you think about physical therapy, a lot of folks just think about recovering from a major accident or injury. This doesn't have to be that. Think about the nagging pain that you have every single day, whether you're hunched over a computer and it affects your back, whether you lift with your back instead of your legs and it affects your lower back. No matter what the problem might be, Baton Rouge Physical Therapy has been around for 60 years. They introduced physical therapy to Baton Rouge, and they're here to help you. Sit you down, talk about your problem, talk about your comfort level with getting to the treatment. They go through all of it. They take care of you like family. Give them a call at 917-9185, 917-9185, or start with the website, brptlake.com, brptlake.com. All right, every day at this time, Jake takes us back in time with This Day in History. Get it, Jake. What do you got?
Starting things off, we're going to be going all the way back to 3,761 BC. Didn't think I'd ever say that on this show, but here we are.
You know what you will never say on this show?
What?
3,761 AD.
No, I won't.
You won't.
I will never say that ever.
No.
I mean, I could.
Well, yeah, just not for this day in history.
It wouldn't make sense.
No, none whatsoever.
But what happened on that day was the origin of the modern Hebrew calendar.
Really?
How on earth did that make it to now?
Well, how do you know it happened on this day? Because before that
That's
day, they
what
didn't have a
I'm saying.
calendar. You know what's the first thing on the calendar?
It is the calendar.
You don't have you can't write on the calendar, make calendar, because there's no calendar to write it on.
Every segment I've ever done here and will do was based on this one event that I am now discussing.
Basically, yes.
Man, I'm proud to be alive. 1916, Georgia Tech, coached by John Heisman, defeats Cumberland 200.
Why were you late? Wasn't on my calendar.
To 0.
Because there was no calendar. God, people were just late all the time before that.
Time just didn't make sense.
No, it didn't.
Was there time?
Hey, do we get together Thursday? I don't know. What's Thursday?
How about in 2 rotations? Does that sound good?
It's so good. 1916, Georgia Tech, coached by John Heisman.
They defeated Cumberland 222 to 0, which is the most lopsided score in history of U.S. college football.
200. I would hope so.
I would hope so as well.
222 to 0.
If they had another game like that in like back-to-back weeks,
you should name a trophy after that coach.
I don't know if someone like that deserves a trophy.
If you beat, no, not a Cumberland's coach. Georgia Tech's coach was John Heisman. Heisman was what we were looking for.
Get it.
The password is Heisman. Good.
1965, 50-mile-per-hour gust helps Robert Matera ace 447-yard 10th hole at Miracle Hills, Omaha, Nebraska, to score the world's longest straight hole-in-one.
Beautiful.
That must have been insane to watch. 1975, U.S. decides John Lennon won't be deported to, will not be deported due to UK pot conviction.
Okay.
1984, Walter Payton passes Jim Brown as NFL's career rushing leader.
Yes.
2003, Arnold Schwarzenegger becomes governor.
You know, I rip on statewide recalls all the time. That's the exception to the rule. Every time there's just we're going to recall Sean Bell. No, you're not. You're going to fail. Everybody does. That's the exception to the rule. When Gray Davis was overtaken by the governor.
In 2008, music, podcast, and video streaming service Spotify is launched. It's crazy.
Spotify's 13 years old?
They just became a teenager.
Wow.
2012, New Orleans quarterback Drew Brees breaks NFL record for consecutive games with a touchdown pass, 48.
It's awesome.
We'd love to see that. 2015, U.S. President Barack Obama apologizes to Doctors Without Borders president and the president of Afghanistan for the bombing of a hospital. Moving on, 2016, Washington Post releases videotape of Donald Trump boasting of groping and kissing women without consent.
You know what? Just remove that one. We don't need to revisit that. That was just... while you're at it, remove the one about the hospital as well.
Yeah, both of them
I
were
mean,
kind of
moving
bad.
forward, let's... Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm good.
That was a spicy one. Noted.
The
the
Arnold Schwarzenegger one's good, though.
Yeah. That's going to conclude the events that I have. Let's get right to the birthdays. First up, We have Vladimir Putin turning 69 years old today.
Really?
Happy birthday.
Get that man a
I
shirt.
guess. Yes, please get him a shirt. Just give him a shirt. Anyway, Simon Cowell turns 62 this day. Diego Costa, he's a soccer player, but to give it into perspective that you would understand, he's basically like a striker, but he's got the mindset of Dennis Rodman.
Okay.
He's crazy.
I do like the fact that you think I would know what a striker is.
He's basically the guy that's supposed to score goals.
Yeah. I mean, to me, striker is Ted Stryker, the guy who stepped in an airplane, who was on the show, by the way.
Very interesting. Tico Torres turns 68, the drummer from Bon Jovi.
Okay.
And not Tony Soprano, Tony Sparano turns 56.
Is he still coaching?
I doubt it.
Yeah.
I just saw him, and we've been talking about Sopranos on this show constantly, so
Yes.
I thought about it. That's going to conclude the birthdays that I have.
Joy Behar's in there as well. We all celebrate Joy Behar's birthday every single year.
Yes.
Not really, but anyway.
Yeah.
Also, Charles Woodson.
Yeah, of course.
A cornerback who won the Heisman Trophy, not the Cumberland Trophy. The Heisman. Charles Woodson, born on this day in 1976. Evan Longoria from the Giants, 1985. And former Saint Chase Daniel.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to all those listed. Going to deaths, I only have two to
Tony
mention.
Braxton. I left off Tony Braxton.
Happy birthday to him as well.
That Boomerang soundtrack. He knows nothing about the early 90s.
No.
Jake knows nothing about the early 90s. All right.
Sorry,
Okay.
I'm young. Only two deaths of note to mention. First up, we have Edgar Allan Poe, who died on this day in 1849.
I'm a big Poe fan.
Yeah?
Yeah. You get into the deepest and darkest recesses of my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Levels of depth and darkness and depth. Love me some Edgar Allan Poe.
It's that emotional cave you put yourself in.
It really is.
Charles Rocket died on this day in 2005. He was former SNL, and he was the villain in Dumb and Dumber, for those who do not recognize him by name.
Not the big guy, not the gas
No,
man.
not
the guy who was like inside with the spoiler alert. The guy who was like inside
The
with
movie
the
came out in the 90s, didn't it?
What? I got to give you spoiler alerts about The Sopranos.
Well, yeah.
That's your
There's
cutoff?
a difference between The Sopranos and Dumb and Dumber. Come on, you can't even pretend like those are the same thing.
Exactly. You should have seen The Sopranos. Anyway, moving on. What else we got?
That'll be it for the deaths. I only have one holiday to mention.
Good,
there
because
were
we're running late.
Yeah. National Frappe Day.
Frappe Day?
Or Frappe, depending on how you pronounce
It's
it.
Frappe.
Yeah, some pronounce it Frappe, some do Frappe. It's Frappe.
All right, well.
But that'll be this day in history.
Thank you much. We are late for a break, so let's take that break now. When we come back, let's talk about the constitutional amendments that are going to be on your ballot next. No, I'm messing with it. It's fine if you do.
I thought about it for a second. As you were saying, like, we should cut that, it didn't matter because I already read it, but I still deleted it off the word. It doesn't matter.
No, it's all good.
You guys have fun with that. That's kind of a fun thing to get
So,
through, yeah.
yeah, I mean, there's so many morning shows, they just do it as like a list, and
Yeah.
I'm like, no, we're completely going to dick around.
Yeah.
As we should.
That's
Yeah. No, I mean, that's what makes it fun.
exactly.
Brian
what am I
put
going
it
to
to
get
me.
here that I can't get from everywhere else?
Brian put it in really good terms for me. Is when I first started doing this, he's like, anybody can just read off a list.
Right.
Like the fun part is having fun with it. And
Having fun with
like,
it.
when there's something stupid to talk about, then go into it. And it's a lot of fun.
That's right. Now, are you in media? Are you in a media major, or are you just?
I graduated LSU this spring that we just had. Mass communication.
Yep.
Worked at KLSU, but yeah, I was on air talent before this. Now I'm learning how to produce, and then we'll see where it goes from there.
See where it goes. That's awesome. Great. Fun.
Senator Cassidy's about to be on the Senate floor talking about exactly what he was talking about with me.
So we got the
good.
inside scoop.
Yeah.
Was he on this morning?
No, yeah, I had him on an hour ago. He was on at 7 o'clock. This afternoon, 2:50 p.m. Central Time, he will be on the Senate floor talking about National Flood Insurance Program Risk Rating 2.0. So, all right. I'll grab some audio from that and have it for tomorrow.
That'd be good.
Yummy.
Maybe they'll accomplish something. Maybe they won't.
I'm not feeling that positive about it. The level of
Their inaction is actually probably better for everybody.
yeah, I'm at a point where
Kind of
any-
where we are with it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They keep saying, "Oh, we're gonna vote. We're gonna vote. We're gonna vote." No.
You know what?
look,
Just don't. If you don't
just
vote, you're not
don't.
spending anything.
Yeah.
The longer you go without voting, the
How about
longer.
no vote? We're
Right.
fine.
I'm just fine with an impasse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although,
Yeah. Something needs to be done, but.
.818 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. So, a little over a month from now, we're going to go to the polls. 9 to 12% of us are going to go to the polls. Sorry. There are a couple of ballot measures that are actually worth our while. You're not going to see any big ticket items like voting for president or anything, but there are constitutional amendments right here in Louisiana that are worth talking about. Dawn Starnes McVea, she heads up NFIB for a growing number of states. Actually, you're taking over. Like you've got like this Napoleon Bonaparte thing happening where you were Louisiana, then it was Louisiana, Mississippi, then Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas now.
Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Kansas.
Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Kansas. All right,
I'm gonna reclaim the territory.
Yeah, I mean you're basically you're just gonna move throughout the Louisiana Purchase, taking your way all the way back up towards Canada before it's all said and done. What are we looking at when we hit the polls this in a month?
Well, and I'll just say you're right. The election day is a little bit of is a month away, but early voting starts October 30th, and so we are in it. We are not far from it, and early voting is an important part of elections. So there's two amendments on the ballot that are really important to small business, and we're really happy and excited to see them on the ballot finally. The first one, Amendment 1, centralizes sales tax.
Yes. Now, we are one of two states that does not do this as of right now, and I have a feeling this one's going to fly.
Hopefully so.
But there are concerns. I'll get to those concerns in a minute. Let's talk about what centralizing sales tax actually does, though.
Yeah. So you and I have talked about it on the radio program in years past. Whenever we had, excuse me, my voice. When my, excuse me, when we have brought the measure before the legislature, it's taken a few years to get it to this point. We have finally had support from the legislative leadership to get it done, and thank you so much. And what happened was the legislature got around it. There were a lot of conversations. Everybody came together, local government, state government. Everybody sat down and said, these are our concerns. The concerns is that it's a big change. We've done it the same way for a very long time.
Right.
So that's hard for local governments. And
well, yeah,
a lot of
especially
fear.
when you consider the number of taxing districts we have or the tax collectors we have. They're local sheriffs, and local sheriffs like their territory.
Yep.
And I understand that completely. But the game changer here is online.
Yep.
I mean, because you ask any one of those local sheriffs how much you're collecting in online taxes, and the response uniformly will be, what?
Virtually nothing.
Right.
Because
virtually nothing. I like it.
Because they really can't. We have no mechanism to truly enforce it, and that is part of the Wayfair decision that was passed at the not passed, but put down from the Supreme Court a couple years back. So our system is overly burdensome, and because it's overly burdensome, it makes it not compliant with that.
Right.
And so we are losing ground. We're losing ground in Mississippi. We're losing ground in all of our neighboring states. But Mississippi alone in 2019 collected $400 million online sales tax because they had the structure to do it. They were there for it. And what did Louisiana get? About $38 million.
Yeah.
Now,
that would be
we
less.
have more people, and that would be significantly less. So, and our sales tax is higher than theirs. So we obviously lost a lot of money. And then COVID hit, and everybody was shopping online, and we still weren't collecting what was due to the state.
Correct.
So our position has been all along that, we've had all these tax changes that are coming at small business owners, especially when we were in that budget cliff a few years back. Don't come ask small business owners for higher taxes, which they did in the form of a higher sales tax, without fixing the broken structure.
Well, and from a small business perspective, especially if you're a brick and mortar small business, you're not playing on a level playing field with an Amazon or whatever, because if your sales taxes aren't being collected online, then you have an unfair advantage online. If you're an old school brick and mortar small business, you're not even close to being in the game.
And it's not. It's totally. It makes the playing field very uneven.
Yeah.
And look, if you're just a small mom and pop with one location in one place and you don't do any online, the system currently probably works for you.
Well, even if you did do online, you're not going to be in that SEO battle. Amazon's going to crush you all day long just for showing up.
Yeah.
I mean,
on the search part, yeah.
Yeah.
If you're even getting picked up. But, folks have started selling through Instagram, Facebook. People are using different platforms to sell, especially, again, during COVID. They pivoted to do that, and were successful. And so small business owners have, as they always do, adapt to the situation. Now it's time for state government to adapt. And so the passage of the bill under the Speaker and the President's leadership is huge. Now it's before the voters, and we need the voters to get out and vote on November 13th. Early voting starts October 30th, which is just a few weeks away, and we need them to support Amendment Number 1 to centralized sales tax.
where are y'all at on Amendment Number 2?
We again are supporting that legislation amendment. We supported it during the process. I think I've talked with you before. Small business owners file their income taxes as individuals, about 75%. So the individual income tax rate is very important.
Yes.
Part of this conglomerate that goes along with this amendment is a corporate piece as well, corporate tax piece as well, for corporate franchise tax for small businesses and up to $300,000. And so,
Wait, part of Amendment 2 includes corporate tax?
well, the passage of it enables
Okay.
those. There's
Wait, for just to back things up a little bit, Amendment Number 2 will lower the maximum income tax rate from 6% down to 4.75, I believe.
Well, the cap is 4.75, but
Gotcha.
the legislature intends to drop it to 4.25.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes.
Which, hey, that means lower taxes across the board for individuals,
Everybody.
but this translates to business as well.
Everybody, small businesses, again, because like I said, about 75% of them file as a pass-through organization, so they file that on their individual income tax rates, their individual income tax forms, and then they're looking to, all these, we get off on rebates and credits and all these things. They want to have a simple way of filing their taxes. And so that's why a lower rate is so important. Just a lower, flatter, fairer rate is so important to small business owners, because they can file their taxes. They don't have to jump through a bunch of hoops to get this credit or that credit, or fill out this form or that form. So that piece of legislation, and then the companion parts of it, were really well supported in the legislature during the session. And the hard part of it is that there is a provision in there that would allow the legislature to remove that federal income tax deduction. Louisiana is one of 3 states, again, in the country that even allow that.
Yeah.
And the important part about that is, again, it's permissive. It's not mandatory. But the important part about making that change and decoupling our income tax from the federal government is that at the end of the day, we Louisianans did not see the income tax reduction that we would have under President Trump had our taxes been decoupled.
Mhm.
So whenever those cuts went into place with the Tax Cut and Jobs Act, the rest of the country was seeing great boom. We saw a lot of great boom, but the state, instead of Louisiana business owners and Louisiana individuals seeing more money in their pockets from the federal government, the state got it. So the state experienced about a $300 million to $400 million surplus that year. And
Yeah.
it's because of the way our taxes are tied. It's very complicated. It's very, I talked about it in a guest column today. It's very old. It's from our Constitution in 1974, and it's just time to change it.
Yes, and we're adding constitutional amendments on top of constitutional amendments. We'll circle back on that
Right.
in another. You want to talk about triggering me very quickly? Let's talk about a new constitution altogether. Anyway, amendments 3 and 4. Do y'all have a take on either one of these?
We don't.
Yeah, nobody does. They're just kind of there. I literally have no idea how I'm going to vote on number 3 because it involves levy districts.
Yeah.
Number 4 sounds weird to me. It's numbers 1 and 2 that are really going to be the draw to bring people out to the polls.
They really are.
And I was joking at the beginning, but I wasn't.
Well, I was about
Turnout's
to say
going to be just brutally low.
Yeah.
Apathy is going to be at an all-time high.
It really is.
So.
It's hard to get folks to get out and vote whenever it's not a person on the ballot. Now, there are some local elections, so we're hopeful that where there are some local elections, that'll be great for turnout and great for support for these 2 amendments because it makes a lot of sense. These are good for the state. They're good for people. They're good for small business.
Well, and what the part I don't understand of why turnout's going to be so low is, let's put it in these terms. Show up at the polls, and you can lower your income tax by 1.25%.
Right. Absolutely.
You can increase your income by 1.25%. You can get yourself a raise.
You can get yourself a raise just by going to vote.
Yeah, and
That's a great
again,
way to put it. I like that.
The way it's going to play out is going to be very, very paltry at best.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll even make 9%, but
Wow, I thought I was being cynical. Way to take it to another level.
I am probably more cynical. It's terrible.
Opposition to the second constitutional amendment that's on here, where could that possibly come from? Because the governor's already signed off on it to put it on the ballot in the first place. The governor said he wasn't going to sign off on any kind of tax proposal unless it was revenue neutral.
Right.
So it is clear that litmus test to begin with. Is there going to be opposition to that second constitutional amendment?
We sure hope not. The local government folks were at the table throughout the discussions, and they have been for several years that we've been looking at this. Most recently, it's been looked at for quite a while, but the recent push, they've been at the table all along. Look, the details still have to be worked out in legislation that would, show how it operates. But the goal right now, look, we have like 4 different entities that collect sales tax in the state. We just want to put them all into one, make it simple, give everybody a place at the table, and do that. So we surely hope and don't see any reason why there would be any opposition.
Early voting opens October 30th. Election day is November 13th. She is Dawn Starnes McVea with the National Federation of Independent Business, and she is slowly taking over America state by state. Thank you so much for the time. Oh, where can folks go if they want to learn more?
Oh, NFIB.org. Also, Untangle My Taxes is our coalition website.
Okay.
Great website. A lot of information there. So check them out.
We will be.
PAR also has their constitutional minute.
Yeah, that's where I read up on all of them as well. As at PAR.
So you can get multiple places for information.
NFIB.org, untanglemytaxes.com, and PAR. Dawn, thank you all as always for the time.
Thank you.
Absolutely. We got a quick break here. We're going to take that break. We're going to check CBS News, local news, traffic, weather. When we come back, let's talk about a new show coming to the Discovery Channel. Another Finding Hidden Treasure show. I love these. We'll talk about it next, right here on Talk 107.3 FM. Yeah, I don't know what it is about treasure hunting. It's like modern treasure. It's modern treasure hunting is what it is.
I see those
my wife
shows
is
and
like,
I'm
"You're
just like,
sick,
where?
You're a hoarder. I'm like, no.
No, that's the thing. My daddy has like an old, one of those old typewriters, one of like the first typewriters. He's convinced. He's like, he won't. I'm like, he's like, I'm telling you, this thing's worth hundreds and hundreds of dollars. I was like, what is anybody going to do with an old typewriter now? Anyway, it's really not worth that.
Right. Well, but no, sorry I didn't have it from the outset, but so I have and I guess you'd call it an antique Coca-Cola ice chest.
Yeah.
Old school metal.
Yeah.
It's metal ice chest. And my wife is like, just throw it away. It's like got a rusted out corner. So I like repainted it. It's beautiful now. It's got the bright popping red with the white lettering, and it just. She's like, it's not like you have an Arctic ice chest. You don't need this. And I'm like, I don't care. It's cool looking. You just back off.
I just want it for decoration.
Right.
Houston has an old Dr. Pepper, like a sign, the round one. That thing is so rusted out, so beat up. Every time there's a bad storm, it flies off the back patio. He loves it.
The intrinsic value of these things.
That is intrinsic value. That is very true.
Darn right.
Thank you so much.
No, thank
Did
you.
you
I
get a little
appreciate you.
picture? Will you get?
Oh,
will you
yeah.
take a little picture, and then that way I can put it on my little.
Actually, need one for the on demand as well.
I can put it on my little.
Okay.
You got? Will you take one on my jumper so I can post it on my little Twitter?
We gotta wait 30 seconds.
Oh, is that one? Oh,
Well,
and then
there we go. Right now.
Do it.
I figured you want the logo, not the sponsors,
Yeah.
right?
One, two. And get one like this.
Yep.
Alright. I got
Thank
two on
you.
each.
Appreciate it. All right, guys.
All
Y'all
right,
have a good
Dawn.
one.
You too.
Enjoy the rest of the day.
Will do.
Get out and vote on October 30th.
Have a good one.
Sports book betting is now open to the public. What about sports app betting? No, I'm confirming what they just said.
Nah, the news is
So you
wrong.
put my password. Oh, nope, that's not my password.
Picture's frozen. I'm gonna fix that.
Okay. Why does it say I've only got $47 left? Did I lose something over the weekend? Shit. Nope, still can't. How did I get down to $47? What the crud, man? No. No, I have $127. Why do I lose 80 when I go from one app to another? They're both DraftKings.
Inflation. That's got to be it.
Do I want to participate in a $15 entry fee for a $2.5 million Thursday night showdown?
$2.5 million
might.
is more than $15.
Yeah, I know, but you're playing with everybody.
No, it's a joke. Your chances of winning are astronomical, but not
Yeah, I know.
impossible. That's what betting is. I don't need to tell you that. Or anyone listening, probably.
Who's playing tonight?
It's actually Rams Seahawks. That's a big one. I'm very excited to watch that.
What's my budget?
Best corner in the game going against DK Metcalf. As a fantasy owner of
$50,000. $50,000. Russell Wilson 17.7. Do I have anybody I can get in on?
Do not get on DK Metcalf.
I'm not.
That's my
It's
recommendation.
not.
That corner locks him down every matchup they have, and then Tyler Lockett picks up the slack. Jalen Ramsey, man,
Tyler Lockett's 14. So I'd spend 31 on my spend 32 of my 50,000 on two guys.
Can you bet on Jalen Ramsey for anything?
No.
I don't bet, so I don't really know like the ins and outs. I just assume there's like a bet or
Tyler Higbee
an
is
over under for
8,400.
anything.
That would give me three guys and like $8,000 left. Let's play this out. Plus.
Is our last guest joining us in person or over the
Phone. It's the same service that I've had 3 of these this week.
Do I need their number?
No, they're calling us.
Okay.
What did I do with them? Ah. So it gives me 22,000 left, so it's 5,600 a guy.
8:38. Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Talking about Operation Hidden Treasures in just a minute. Army veteran and host of the new Discovery Channel series, Jerry Flanagan, is going to join us on the hotline in just a little while. I don't know about you. I'm compelled by these shows. You give me, like, people looking for something through somebody's junk. American Pickers is one. Pawn Stars is a good example, right? You ever watch Pawn Stars? You got people bringing in these random things that have, like, you know, this backstory to them and value to them. It's like, it's modern day treasure hunting is what it is. What is it about treasure hunting that's so compelling? Storage Wars is another one. Storage Wars is one I've always wanted to participate in, but no, I would probably just find, like, you know, used bed sheets and crack pipes. But they always do, you know, they bid on the locker they bid on the storage locker without seeing what's inside it, and then they get to sift through all the stuff, and inevitably they always find some kind of rare antique, and then they get it priced out, and they always make thousands of dollars. And you watch it, and you're like, oh, that's so cool. You know it'll never happen in real life, but you watch it on there every single time. Anyway, this one is American Pickers meets Pawn Stars, but with a higher purpose. American Pickers is a cool show if you've never watched it. Looking forward to talking to Jerry Flanagan in just a little bit. Hey, before we get to that, though, got to ask you how you slept last night. You know, I tell you about the Baton Rouge Mattress Outlet every single day. Mitch Kimball and his team, they want to take care of you. They've got more than just the lowest prices around. And, oh, by the way, they do have the lowest prices around. But they've also got great financing. Oh, if you mention that you heard about it right here, you will get free delivery. Also a free pillow. Here's the thing, though. Everybody needs a different kind of mattress, right? We're not all uniformly built the same way. We don't all sleep the same way. We all have our different comfort levels. Some of us like a more firm mattress. Some of us like the pillow top. I'm a hybrid guy myself. What mattress suits you best? Well, if you don't know, just swing by 4065 Florida Boulevard or the corner of Jefferson and Hoosier 2. 4065 Florida is right there in Mid-City, corner of Jefferson and Hoosier 2, the southeastern corner of the parish. Either location of the Baton Rouge Mattress Outlet, you can just walk in and start laying down. Try different mattresses out. Find out what's right for you. You take a nap if you're up to it. If you can actually, you know, fall asleep in somebody's store, have at it. Mitch encourages it. He wants what's best for you at either location of the Baton Rouge Mattress Outlet. If you need to give him a call, let's start with the home base. That's the 4065 Florida Boulevard location. 930-5779, 930-5779. We'll get you the Florida Boulevard location of the Baton Rouge Mattress Outlet. Or, like we said, they're also in the corner of Jefferson and Hoosier 2. And again, if you mention you heard about it right here, you will get free delivery at either location of the Baton Rouge Mattress Outlet. Time now to head to our hotline. Time now to welcome in Army veteran Jerry Flanagan, who has a new show coming to the Discovery Channel called Operation Hidden Treasures. Jerry, good morning. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Brian.
Glad to have you on here. Glad to be talking about this. We're talking about walking in before bringing you on. Why are hidden treasures, why are modern treasure hunts so compelling to guys?
Because people that collect items in their homes, they just build up, and it's like a treasure hunt. You walk into someone's house, you don't realize that they've got an antique here, an old magazine there, an old World War II item here. So you just don't know what you're walking into. So it's really exciting.
It is fun. Now, your show is being billed as American Pickers meets Pawn Stars, but with a higher purpose. What's the higher purpose?
Because we're all veterans and veterans family members that own these franchises. You're literally putting veterans to work when you call us and we come into your homes. So it's all military-based.
So this started with J-Dog. Tell us a little bit about J-Dog and how it brought around to the show itself.
Sure. So my nickname in the Army was J-Dog. And when we started this junk removal business, I needed something to kind of go with junk removal, so I named it J-Dog after my nickname. And it's turned into a franchise system, over 250 locations across the country. And we put military veterans and military patriot family members into this business. They hire fellow veterans. We go into people's homes. We haul away their junk. They're happy and excited that they helped a veteran business. And we take the items and repurpose them and redonate them, resell them. We get them. We keep them out of the landfill.
That is cool stuff. Now, how much of this is just your everyday stuff, and how much of this are those hidden treasures?
It's a combination. Depending on what part of the country, some areas have a better history of people collecting the items many years. But in some of the main cities, these turnovers of these homes are quite frequent. So you get the people that move out all the time.
What's the coolest thing you've ever found?
You know, the coolest thing I ever found was a boat anchor. It was a couple hundred years old. It was in someone's backyard because there was a waterway that went behind their home, and it was a massive, anchor that took me hours to pull out of the ground and break up. And I just thought that was awesome to see that boat anchor sit in the middle of someone's yard.
What do you do with something like that?
Straight to the metal, recycle, and you actually get some money out. They pay you for that kind of stuff. So yeah, it definitely recycled.
If a boat anchor is the coolest thing you've ever found, what's the most expensive thing you've ever found?
Well, I have a Sports Illustrated collection, which we're auctioning off on the show. It's the first, I believe, 20 editions of Sports Illustrated with all of the baseball cards in it. And we're actually auctioning off in one of our episodes. You'll see it on TV. I think that's probably the most valuable thing that I've ever come across.
Very cool stuff. Now, there's a number of different specific examples from the episode that's, I believe, premieres Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. Premieres Sunday morning at 7 o'clock here locally. There will be an encore presentation on the American Heroes channel a week from tonight on October 14th at 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central. A couple of examples of what we're going to experience in this first episode. What are we going to see?
Well, you're going to see a veteran that is moving into an apartment who's down on his luck. And he was a combat veteran who lost his friend. They stepped on an IED. He survived. And we're able to show up to his new apartment and furnish it for him. And it's exciting. And you see these veterans talking to each other about some of their experiences, and you're basically you're giving someone a helping hand up, which is great.
The concept for the show, and you had veteran-owned and veteran-run businesses. The concept for the show, there's a growing willingness to listen to veteran stories right now. I think we've kind of crossed the threshold where we're not worried about the uncomfortable. We're more worried about embracing.
Totally agree. When people found out that I was a military veteran hauling junk in my neighborhood, they reached out and our phones blew up. I mean, that's why over the last 10 years it grows so fast, because there's veterans out there that need jobs. There's veterans that want to open up a business, and the American people want to help. They don't just want to write a check, but they want to use veteran business services, and that's what we provide. So we're very, very fortunate right now that the American people love our veterans.
No, absolutely. It is rewards need to grow from there. There's not a whole lot of TV shows that have this as its basis, though. The pitch to that, how receptive was Discovery? I mean, obviously they've taken you on, but walk me through getting this thing launched.
Well, Jim Melio, who was the creator of The Dog Whisperer, he's the one who came up with the concept of putting what we do every day into a television series. And when he presented it to Discovery Channel, they thought it was great. So, it's true that there's not many TV shows on the air about veterans. Either it's old World War II in color clips, or it's, you following guys around Afghanistan. But what do they do when they get done service to the country? Well, here's one thing they do. They hire veterans, and they go out and they haul junk, and they donate it, and they serve again in America's backyards again. They serve the country, now they're serving in their communities. So it's really neat to put this onto a TV show.
When you started J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling, did you have any idea, any concept that this would grow into what it is now?
Not a clue. I was more concerned of providing for my family. My kids were very young, and I needed to work. So I worked out of desperation and fear, and it caused me to be able to bring in a nice living, and we grew from there.
Jerry Flanagan's with us for another minute and a half, thereabouts a minute and a half, talking about Operation Hidden Treasures, which is coming to the Discovery Channel as well as the American Heroes Channel. Jerry, before we get you out of here, I got to ask you about Grunt Style, because in reading up on this, I keep coming across this clothing line. What is Grunt Style, and how did it come to be?
Yeah, so Grunt Style is the largest patriotic T-shirt company in the world, really. Started by an Army veteran, and it's grown now to a very big company. And I sit on the board of directors of that company. And when I spoke to them about featuring their T-shirts on our show, they thought it was a great idea, so they became our sponsor. Mm-hmm. And they have phenomenal TV commercials during the show. They feature patriotism, and you'll start seeing grunt style shirts all over the place because we're opening retail stores up, and it's just a great company to be part of.
Absolutely, and the veteran to veteran network is continuing to grow. Here in Louisiana, we've recently passed legislation that's built out a database to help folks hire veterans, help folks network veterans together. It's a unique space to be in, and you'll have an understanding of each other to help each other succeed. It's a fantastic mission, and I thank you for it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. He is Jerry Flanagan, host of Operation Hidden Treasures, which you will see on the Discovery Channel as soon as this Sunday. Jerry, thanks for hopping on board, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. 849 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. We got Your Money Now coming your way in just a minute. It's well, we've had State Senator Franklin Foyle on the show a number of times and talking about building out that database and getting veterans to connect with other veterans, because in the workplace, they're a unique lot. I mean, they've experienced the world through different eyes that we are forever indebted to. Love seeing something like this where it's going to put it in our living rooms on a weekly basis. So, Operation Hidden Treasures. And again, like, you can't go wrong when you got dudes sifting through junk to find something cool. The repurposing end and using that repurposed end to help out somebody else just takes it to a whole other level. So I appreciate Jerry for hopping on board this morning. All right, we got to take another break. Last break of the show. When we come back, we've got more ground to cover. Check Your Money Now. Check traffic. Then we'll close things out on the back end right here on Talk 107.3 FM, the new flavor of talk.
Nothing. Yes, interview heavy. I need you to go back with Dr. Nuff or Duff or whatever. Nuss. You're going to have to dub it in real time from the YouTube, because if you pull it off of Sterlitz, you're going to have the EAS message in it. Okay. Yeah, just out of the Internet PC, pot up Internet PC on the board and record it right into Adobe. What? Two. Program 2 feeds the... No, you don't need Adobe into. You're recording from the Internet. So you have Internet PC on, up, and in Program 2. Van Jefferson. Don't want Freddie Swain.
8:56, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. One more segment to go. Hey, thanks again to Jerry Flanagan for hopping on board. Sorry, I was reaching for a stack of papers. Thanks again to Jerry Flanagan for hopping on board. Looking forward to seeing that show, Operation Hidden Treasures. Before we get you out of here this morning, I got to tell you about the folks over at Complete Collision Center. They've got 2 locations. One's on Plank Road in Zachary. One is on Perkins, just east of Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge. If you find yourself in an accident, you know the clock starts ticking immediately in finding a place to get your car cared for. Complete Collision Center is here for you, and they pride themselves on knowing how to fix your car safely, knowing how to get your car back to the way the factory likes it. Certified by more than 12 manufacturers. Certified by more than a dozen manufacturers. That would be 12, Brian. And they also have the iCar Gold Class certification. You can check them out online at CompleteCollision.com. CompleteCollision.com. They will also pick up the battle with your insurance company. I cannot stress how important that is. Picking up that battle with your insurance company can save you so much hassle and make sure your car is repaired the right way. Check them out, CompleteCollision.com. All right, got about 2 minutes before we get out of here. I want to go back to a story that we had way earlier in the show this morning, and that is, actually, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that. I want to reiterate what Ashley was just talking about during traffic, because that is super important what's going on right now. Whiskey Bay Bridge, I-10 westbound, is shut down right now. I am looking at it on my phone, actually, as soon as she started talking about it. It's actually not westbound. It's coming into town. I-10 eastbound is what's shut down right now. This is the traffic is backed up from before Henderson all the way up to I-10 East at Highway 975. This is, like Ashley said, due to a vehicle that caught fire earlier. Nobody was injured in it. The fire's now since been put out, but the interstate is still closed, and the traffic is way, way backed up all the way from Henderson up to where the accident actually finds itself. So if you got somebody coming into town from Lafayette or Points West, they're going to be late today. So adjust accordingly. Or if you have to head to Lafayette anytime soon, just know that your trip back might be a little delayed as well if these effects linger on into the morning. Or through the morning, I should say. That's going to just about do it for us. Fox News Rundown's coming your way right after we check CBS News. Brian Kilmeade's coming your way after that. I'm scanning through my stack here. We've got so much left over that we're going to have to talk about tomorrow. Flu shot season, we're going to talk with folks from Oxnard tomorrow. Haggai Davis is going to be in for his regularly slated Cup of Tech Gumbo. We had Haggai on earlier in the week to talk about Facebook shutting down for an entire day. Not an entire day, more than 6 hours. But Facebook shutting down not long after a whistleblower talking to CBS News. Have there been any further developments? Haggai will be in for a Cup of Tech Gumbo tomorrow. In the meanwhile, we're done here. We'll see you later. Oh, yeah, YouTube. Thank y'all so much for hopping on board today. Really jam-packed show. We will see y'all tomorrow. We got a